That'll be faster. Oh my god, there's a bongo cat emote? I mean, hello! Welcome back, everybody! So, we're about to get started with our Final Fantasy I randomizer run, and so right before I turn it back over to our actual commentators, I'm just going to show that we decided to shift up and shuffle around those naming incentives. So we have all of your Dans, but there's not a flat team of Dan. So take that up with your runners who are going to rock it. We do still have some donation incentives that do need to be met. The War Mech incentive is still open, so we'll talk a bit more about that. But for now, let's get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is going to be super fun. Everyone, I hope, is ready for a really awesome game of Final Fantasy Randomizer. I'm Rainbow Poogle, and I'm joined in the booth by Will Cleosis.
Rainbow Poogle! We're on the RPG Valkyries. What an honor it is to be here. My name's Will Cleosis, and back together again, and this is great to be here. Great show we got going on. Demerine and Sylverfyre, two players that did so much damage in the most previous Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament, made the play-in race. Sylverfyre started out 3-0. We'll get to that in a little bit. Poogle, great game going on here in Final Fantasy Randomizer. Two forest party members. It looks like it's a white mage and a black mage and a whole bunch of insane flags. We're going to have so much fun today right here on the RPG Valkyries channel.
So, for anyone who has seen any of the more tame seeds of Final Fantasy Randomizer, you're in for one heck of a treat. This is going to be extremely silly. The flags are basically off the walls. This is one of the first times that we're going full shenanigans with the live site and nonsense. I think our runners are just about ready to go. What do you think, Will?
Looks like they're in the starting blocks getting ready to run this great match that we're going to have here. Dan. There's two characters named Dan, Poogle. What does that mean in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community?
So, Dan in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community is the colloquial term for a party member you normally leave dead. Reason being is that sometimes you get a forced party member, like a thief or a black belt, that you really don't want to have. If you Dan them or leave them dead in the party, the remaining 3 party members will then have the experience split among themselves 3 ways and not 4. Sometimes it's a really good strategy if you have a party member you don't like, or you need magic charges on a red mage or a white mage to Dan a party member so that they end up getting the extra experience to the members that actually need it.
I'd like to thank our restreamer today. It is Scala. It is, Scala Kitty and Natara joining us, being our host today. Rainbow Poogle alongside Will Cleosis. We're getting ready to go and start up right here. It is floor and entrance shuffle. Could be a War Mech wandering around. We're not too sure about exactly what's going to happen there. And a bunch of incentivized locations. But we're going to see exactly what happens here with floor and entrance shuffle. We've only done this probabso about a dozen times or so that we've shown this off. So we're going to be looking for a veteran move right here on the RPG Valkyries channel. Does either of our players head directly to Canaria Castle instead of the town of Canaria first?
Considering that at least one of the first 3 or 4 locations has to be safe, I would say that they check Canaria Castle.
One of my favorite places to find in that safe zone kind of area, the ladies, Poogle. The mermaids is one of my favorite places to find so much treasure, and it's always such a pleasure to see the ladies.
What's also really nice is that because this is floor and entrance shuffle, there's going to be a difference in color palettes for each of the areas. It's going to be really nice.
Neither player makes a move, it looks like. Right at the beginning, it looks like we might be a little bit ahead. We're going to check our stream real quick. Both players are off. It looks like Canaria Castle is Gaia. We've got Bane and level 1 magic. Bane, Poogle, that's your favorite, isn't it? Or is it Brack?
No, it is Bane, and we also have Heal 3, which is really nice. Both Red Mage and White Mage learnable.
Not much in the armor shop. Heal 3 is Red Mage learnable. It's in the first slot of White Magic for in Canaria. So given that on the Demerine is on the left side of your screen, it does have a Red Mage, although it is named Dan. We'll see if that changes the idea of maybe perhaps danning it.
Looks like we're not gonna get Sleep or Lit 2 or Pure or Ruse, as they are level 7 and not often used because you don't really get your party members that high enough level for proper charges. But as our first instance of entrance shuffling, we've got Town of Gaia, which is normally airship locked only in Canaria Castle.
Question from Prof NES in chat. Did the players choose their party, or was that randomized? 2 forced party members was what both players agreed upon. It looks like it was the white mage and a black mage were forced. The other 2 were open for any of the 6 light warrior classes for both players to select this afternoon right here on the RPG Valkyries.
So it looks like we've got our first instance of something that's not so nice. We've got imps with poison touch.
Oof.
Definitely not as awful as you could think, but not super okay, especially when you might have 1 or 2 characters that get poison touch, get down to 1 HP, and then get just smacked around.
Our runners are neck and neck. Both players have made their way to the original Temple of Fiends area. It's green, number 1, and it's a Cardia treasure room from the original Cardia Isles. 3 treasure chests right here that both players are going to raid. And the tinting is a little bit different from before. The tinting kind of matches the entrance that you originally entered. And changes and tries to let you know where it is that you entered before so that you can remember where you are. Because Poogle, in all our playtesting of this, we would get 7, 8, 12 floors deep in a dungeon, and we had no idea where we started.
Oh yeah, no, notes are a absolute almost must in this, unless you have a really good memory, considering that there are a lot of floors to a lot of different dungeons that could be all over the place. Considering that we do have one of the more interesting flags set. We have a deep Temple of Fiends Revisited. So Temple of Fiends Revisited could be at the bottom of a, 8-9 floor dungeon.
We've had it happen, definitely. Sylverfyre's down to 2 light warriors. Demerine was down to 2 light warriors. Looks like both players are going to be able to get back to Canaria and decide what it is that you want to do. Actually, it looks like Sylverfyre was down to 1. Do they want to revive? Do they want to let them go? Looks like Demerine's probably going to go ahead and revive and stick with the all 4 light warriors at this time. Poogle, for some of the fans tonight, this afternoon, that maybe haven't seen or played this game in quite a long time, this game's been modernized. Do you see how fast they're walking? Do you see that right there? A buy 10 option on the screen? All these sorts of things that have modernized the game and made it a lot more convenient to play.
More convenient, faster, a little less obnoxious, especially with the buy 10 option when you've got a stack of heal pots that you really just need to buy, or a stack of tents, or a stack of anything, really.
Yeah, a lot less tedious, definitely. Spells. Spells in the original game, there was some that didn't do anything whatsoever, even if the Final Fantasy Randomizer or the Final Fantasy strategy guide told you so. What are some of those spells that actually work now?
Well, Temper and Saber work how they're supposed to now, which is really nice, considering that they are extremely useful spells. One of my personal favorites that works now properly is Xfer, which now actually does what it's supposed to, which is lowering magical defense from opponents, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah, I kind of the way that I describe it when someone asks what exactly is Xfer is it strips the immunities of an enemy, and they can do that against you as well. And the specific item in the game for yourself and your light warrior party that gives you immunities is the very sought after ribbon.
But you can still get hit through that ribbon. It's a 3 in 256 chance, but it can still happen.
Oh, it definitely happens. Demerine has made her way to the original dwarf cave, and this is floor and entrance shuffle. She enters into a dungeon of the sea shrine, and all of a sudden she's in the volcano, and now she finds Elfland Castle.
So Elfland Castle is going to be super important for when our runners are going to need to find certain things, and we have found Canaria Castle where? Matoyas. It's purple.
Route divergence. Sylverfyre heads north, digs out a key item in the canal. There's a key item boost. I think it's at 12 items, Poogle, 150% for experience. We'll get to that in a little bit when our players both hit that mark. But we finally got a route divergence. Demerine just keeps finding dungeon after dungeon.
Oh dear, we found Marsh already. Marsh is one of those locations, if you've not played the vanilla game or the randomizer, Marsh is just not a fun time. At all. It's not. especially now with the enemies being shuffled around to high, heck, and back. The spells are shuffled, the skills are shuffled, the HP, everything is shuffled, the ambush rates are shuffled. You could get ambushed by dang arachnids. It's really awful.
Remember when we would go to Marsh Cave when we were younger, Poogle, and we had to get that crown out of the Marsh Cave, and it was guarded by those wizards that you could never get away from?
I wonder what's happened to those wizards now.
Things have changed a little bit. We might see that coming up here on Demerine's screen as she starts to traverse the old Marsh Cave. 2 ways you can go, 2 different outcomes you could possibly find. You could find Carrie at the top of the Marsh Cave here in the randomization of floor and entrance shuffle, and on the bottom you could find an empty Cardia Islands. Could be anything. Could be everything. Could be nothing.
Well, it looks like we have found the dwarves in the north fork of the Marsh Cave. Which looks like it was Astos' castle. Or Northwest Castle, but it's Astos' castle. Sorry, the kindly old king, but it's Astos.
The kindly old king and his pet bats? That's Temple of Fiends. Oh. Demerine finds the Temple of Fiends in the South Fork of the original Northwest Castle, which was randomized into the Marsh Cave. You're going to be able to take out Garland. You know what she's gonna be able to turn around. Watch Demerine. She's gonna get out of here. She's gonna go and she's gonna hopefully. No, she doesn't have the information. Doesn't know where Canaria Castle is. Her opponent Sylverfyre does.
Sylverfyre did find Canaria Castle in Matoya's cave. Now, anything in Matoya's cave, I'm personally biased to because it is a lovely silver and purple palette. But since Sylverfyre found that already, they don't have to worry about looking for that later when they find Temple of Fiends, especially because Temple of Fiends is not super hard to find.
Oh, with a question from chat, what in the world is a canal? It's similar to back when you played this game when you were much younger, some 30 years ago. You had to have the ship and the TNT in order to blow up the canal to gain access to the entire world in your ship and progress in the game and progress through the story and the journey of the Light Warriors in Final Fantasy. Here we have essentially our developers, Nits, the Meridians, Septimus is here in chat joining us as well. You get a canal, essentially, that because the teaming in the TNT could yield you the legendary Mazmoon weapon, could lead you the Adamant Cube, all that other sort of stuff. And in this case, the canal is what we named, and we built a bridge over the canal so that you can walk over it or sail under it.
So there's also a little bit of thing. You mentioned turning in the TNT for the Mazmoon, let's say. Not only are the main quest items shuffled, so the king will give the canal, Sarah could give something else, and will give something else once Demerine finds Canaria Castle, but all of the fetch quest items are shuffled as well. So you could have, as to give an extremely heinous example, the vendor item being a maxed price ruby, which leads to a required item like the herb, which leads to the crystal, which leads to the crown, which leads to the TNT. It's a whole kerfuffle.
I think there's a reason they called it Fetch Quest, and we have had that happen, and sometimes it can end in a dud. It can end in a potentially randomized item, which it might be, it could be a ribbon,
The example I'm remembering is it ended in a ribbon. It was a long fetch quest filled with pen.
I remember that. Sylverfyre has made their way west and south and now dug out that Marsh Cave split after hitting a dead end after Sylverfyre went north and now retracing the steps of Demerine. Demerine has continued south and has continued the dungeon finding experience here on the RPG Valkyries on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday, October afternoon, and is digging out an earth cave floor. I almost kind of want to dig out this area here, Poogle, that Demerine's doing, get out and save, and then maybe jump back in?
Perhaps. She also could be looking around for the trap tiles. Now, as basically everything in this game has been shuffled so far, the one thing that our runners could be looking for potentially is a different trap tile. Now, the trap tile is usually, as you said, like the wizards in Marsh Cave that are guarding that one particular chest. They might not be wizards anymore. They might be the undead trap tile from the waterfall. They might be Three Eyes. They might be Phantom. It's happened.
Yes, that's new to the Final Fantasy Randomizer. It might be in our alpha area still at this point, as far as switching and finding the Phantom. We have that.
Phantom's there.
Phantom's there? Oh god, okay.
Which also means that the Phantom Trap tile in Temple of Fiends Revisited can be literally anything. I believe last time I saw it, it was 2 Earths.
Yeah, last time I had it, it was 6 Sehags.
That's not... Well, in Temple of Fiends, that's not awful.
So, what we've got on the right-hand side of your screen, Sylverfyre finds the Temple of Fiends, going to take out Garland. We're going to see what Sylverfyre is going to do. There's 2 more entrances in Elfland and Elfland Castle, which Demerine is at right now. Does Sylverfyre turn around? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, in that area.
That's not bad at all, considering level 3 and level 4 magic. They haven't found Provoca yet, but they still can get a sense of what might or might not be there. Especially if they want to try tracking Provoca down for that level 2 magic, which so far might be pretty stacked from what we've already seen.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. We're going to see if Sylverfyre continues on like Demerine did, or with Sylverfyre with that information that Demerine does not, turns around after taking out Garland and goes back toward Canary Castle, which is in the original Matoya's Cave, and talks to Princess Sarah. That could be a canoe, that could be a floater, something
Looks
game
like
changing.
they're gonna go do it too.
Yep. I like this move.
I also really like this move.
So the route divergence it rears its head, kind of, you could say, and Sylverfyre could be an advantage, could be a disadvantage. No. Exit?
Exit is not Red Mage learnable. I don't believe Life is either.
It is not. The Red Mage can learn Harm 4 and a Fire at this point in time, level 4 White Magic on Demerine's screen. The class-promoted Red Wizard can learn the 4th slot, though. Here's
a thought. Demerine stopped off in that 1 floor of Earth Cave and found a Zomble tile. As such, getting Harm 4 would allow Demerine to farm up some experience. I'm saying oh dear because we have found... Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we have found the Bridge of Destiny.
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, it is the Bridge of Destiny. Demerine's going for it. She's looking for a fight. She's looking for a fight. She gets some airs, something maybe she can mow down. It's Elfland Castle. Elfland Castle is going to be the Bridge of Destiny, potentially the first fiend that we found here. It is Tiamat. Tiamat.
Now, as such, the Bridge of Destiny I've found just really, really likes to be in a solo location. Just around. Now, as we saw on Sylverfyre's side, they found a very, very important item while we were all fangirling over the Bridge of Destiny. Sarah gave us the canoe.
Go a paddling opens up the world. That's going to be, I gotta think that that's going to be required in this. That path is going to have to be done in order to progress in this exhibition today between Sylverfyre and Demerine on the RPG Valkyries. Wukleos is here. Miss Shenanigans herself, Rainbow Poogle, one of our lead playtesters on the development team, takes care of the broadcasts. And
lead proprietor of silliness. I'll take that.
Lead proprietor of silliness it is.
So, something that not a lot of people do, but is really nice. Sylverfyre kept going through the river areas, just in case, because the first tile you go into a river, you won't get an encounter.
That is correct. I believe it's also the first tile that you walk out of on the river as well. I just was told that recently. And come to think of it, I've never had an encounter on that one. So it's quite possible that it is as well.
Which is something small, but just really nice to know.
Demerine has returned to the... it's at the Marsh Cave entrance, I believe, and that Earth Cave shuffled entrance floor. After leaving earlier, going to dig a little bit deeper. Sylverfyre's headed that way. I gotta think maybe Sylverfyre might just check this out. Maybe do a little bit of digging, but with that canoe in hand, Sylverfyre has to feel probably pretty good about it. That yields access to the other part of the world where Crescent Lake is, the volcano. And here in Final Fantasy Randomizer, Book, we did some map edits. You can canoe from Crescent Lake to Provoca now. It's not blocked off anymore.
No, it is not, and it is a fantastic thing. I believe we saw Sylverfyre already check Provoca as they went over to Matoya's Cave first as well. We've got another of the Cardia Islands, or the Zardia Islands, as we sometimes affectionately like to call them, after one of our masters of basically everything that we decide to do.
One of the more lucrative Cardia Islands here with all this treasure. Demerine, you can see her picking up moving a pro ring around, equipping that, so a little bit of armor, some swords as well. And yes, the original Provoca entrance was a Titan's Tunnel, if memory serves me correctly. And that could come into play. The ruby could pop up here. And you could have to go back to that original Provoca entrance, feed the Titan, raid his trove, and go out the other way. And you could end up at the original Earth Cave. And then you could be able to walk to the original Malmond or another Titan's Tunnel. And there could be progression in there. We've played those games, Pooh, and oh, were they fun.
Hey, a seed where you have to feed the Titan is always fine in my book.
It is.
So a lot of undead. And Sylverfyre is going to be the first one to leave the Marsh Earth Cave and go back in to probably dig out some more. Probably wanted to come out and save the things that they had gotten, go for this lower chest area down here, which I don't believe has been checked yet.
No, I don't believe so as well. So Sylverfyre uses the Free Bridge. The Free Bridge is a flag. You can find it on FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. Utilized that and that knowledge to head north to gain that information of Canaria Castle and put it all together. We'll see if Demerine puts that together and heads back north with the options of the bridge. Ooh, what is that?
Speaking of flags, I'm looking over these again, and something has caught my eye.
Sages?
Now, that is correct. Normally, when we decide to do like a faster seed or a shenanigan seed, we have the early sage item flag ticked on, which means you don't have to go kill Lich in order to get the Circle of Sages item. However, both of our runners have decided to turn that flag off. They will have to kill Lich in order to get the Circle of Sages item.
In the original game, like we talked about before with the ship and the TNT opening up the world, you had to take out the vampire first in order to talk to Sarda, the confused old man in his lakefront cave, to get his item. Here in this game, you can design it whether or not you have to do that still, or you can just get Sarda's item, and our players tonight will be able to get Sarda's item. But it required a double dip of Earth Cave. Then you had to go back in, take out the Fiend of the Earth Lich in order to get the aforementioned item from the Circle of Sages. That is in play here in this match between Demerine and Sylverfyre. Lich is going to have to be taken out before you can get a Circle of Sages item.
Can I pop in for a quick second?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to pop in and say we do still need another $125 in order to force these runners to also fight Warmech on top of all of these other flag changes and flags they currently have implemented. So if you want to see that very mean fight, we need another $125, and that can go towards a prize of a beautiful t-shirt, which is available as a draw for this game only.
Now, nice thing about Warmech fights, if there are actually any nice things about Warmech fights at all, is that Warmech shares a spell and a skill pool with the other 4 Temple of Fiends Revisited Fiends. As all of these skills, spells, and whatnot are shuffled, the Fiends Revisited fights have a separate pool between themselves and the Warmech that they share so that, like, I don't know, imps don't end up with nuclear, even though they could and it's awful. But they have a very specific pool between themselves. Warmech sharing that, you find Warmech, you get to fight Warmech, you end up seeing what the fiends will not have. And sometimes that's really nice to get out of the way.
Yeah, some of the spells and skills that are in that pool, the large pool of chaos the 4 Fiends Revisited in Warmech, are Warmech's 4 nuclears. Bane, slow 2 can really slow you down. 3 nukes. You could have a fiend that's first 3 spells are nuke, and good luck.
You can also have a fiend whose spell and skill list just goes nuclear, nuke, nuclear. It's it's awful.
Swirl, Inferno, all skills that are all mixed up in that large end of game boss pool that does include Warmech.
It's not a fun time. On that topic, there is also one particularly special skill/spell set called the Great Medusa script.
Oh, the Medusa script. Yeah, tell the fans about that.
So Medusa script, or Great Medusa script, is the Medusas, the Great Medusas, and the Saurias all have the same spell and skill list in the vanilla game. Meaning that whatever 3 enemies end up with that script will have the same skills and spells as the other 2 enemies, and that is a individual particular thing that script shares. Oftentimes it can go unnoticed, but if, let's say, and I've seen this happen, Nuke shows up on that script, there will be 3 separate enemies with Nuke waiting to murder you.
I played a game somewhat recently. It was about 2 months ago where that happened. And
I believe it was. I think I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I believe it was Red Anklio's, Iron Golems, and something else.
It was Frost Dragons.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
correct.
And there's a video that's has questionable language in it, floating around. That's quite amusing for in-home personal usage to watch and laugh at Nucleosis because I was not happy with it. But oh, was it fun!
It was hilarious. We are seeing a couple of just checks back and forth between our runners, with roughly the same checks being done on either side. Both of our runners kind of going where the other has already been, and we are still left with that canoe guarding something.
Yeah,
Because canoe leaves access to Volcano, Ice, and Crescent Lake. Well, the entrances to those three.
looks like Demarine's figured it out, Poogle. Demarine's headed back north after really clearing everything she could. It probably dinged in her head, oh, the free bridge is on. Whether or not you could find Sarda and an item, she doesn't know at this point, but she will more than likely very soon head up to the original Matoya's Cave and find Canaria Castle to pick up her canoe. I've got to think that that's where progression is. It would be either the original Ice Cave, the original Volcano, or the original Crescent Lake. It could be as simple as Sarda. It could be as difficult as a 10 floor deep, bottom of marsh cave, iron golem locked wizard chest that yields you the floater.
Now, the one nice thing about Demarine's routing choice is that I don't believe Demarine's been to Provoca yet. So, she'll be able to hit up Provoca, find the Titan's Tunnel in there, and then go down from Provoca to Crescent Lake and around.
Demerine has put the pieces together, picks up the canoe. Poogle, if you're Demerine now, do you feel behind at the 22-minute mark just getting that canoe?
Yes and no, considering that it did require a little bit of digging. And part of that digging was Earth Cave, and Earth Cave early with a bunch of undead is not the most fun of times.
Sylverfyre's in a fight with a mudgull, right side of your screen. I might be able to get through this with all 4 warriors. I think Sylverfyre is going to really like this. Oh, gets through. 19 damage. Takes out the golems, level 7 and 8. There's the experience that we were just about to talk about. I think Sylverfyre really needed that at this point.
Absolutely, the Bridge of Destiny is a great place to level if you don't have to worry about getting completely wrecked. And sometimes the golems will wreck everything in their path and then some.
They will hit you pretty hard. Sylverfyre continues the exploration of Elfland, probably my favorite town.
I guess you could consider their attacks rock solid.
Rock solid indeed. They hit like a rock.
Speaking of rocks, can I read out a couple donations?
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Natara.
Okay, so we got $11.11 from Scala Kitty saying, I had to fight Warmech in my Final Fantasy Legend 2 run, so it's only fair to make Dem and Syl do the same. I agree. We also got $20 from Tina Hack saying, Hey chat, Tina here. This goes to trolling these delightful runners with Warmech. This also goes to calling on chat to help us blow up this donation goal. Let's help take this, put on a super valuable AFK room for an event. To remind you, our goal is $10,000 as that will allow Take This to have a new AFK room at a different event. So let's blow this up and so we can blow up Warmech.
Let's nuke this up.
Oh dear. Alright, I got my really bad pun. I can't really say to do not the same.
You probably prefer to bane this up, or maybe brack this up.
Well, I mean, I've got to be the bane of somebody's existence.
We'd like to thank the RPG Valkyries for having us in tonight. My name is Wookleosis. I'm alongside Rainbow Poogle from the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. 2 members of our community going at it for charity, for everything, putting everything they have on the line in kind of the future of what we have for Final Fantasy Randomizer. It's floor and entrance shuffle. We're trying to get Warmech in there. There's a whole bunch of incentives, a bunch of big bad enemies, lots of weapons to find and armors to find this beautiful, beautiful Thursday afternoon here in October 2018.
Oh no. As always, the lobsters are awful.
Demerine coined the term, Poogle. You remember that? Oh no, lobsters have masmoons, and that is very appropriate a lot of the time.
Oh, considering they have glare.
They just want to hug you. Those are hugging arms. Also, we did receive a $20 donation from Profness saying, okay, that shirt is a good shirt. Let's see some Warmech. And that does bring our incentive. We're currently at $76.11 as of a required $150. So we're about halfway there. We can do this, folks.
Come on, fans. You want to see the War Machine Warmech? Get in here, make your donation, because we want to see both these players take on the War Machine himself, a fan favorite. Everyone likes to see Warmech. Can Warmech destroy our players, or will our players take out Warmech?
So there was the cube block. I believe that was at Crescent Lake? I didn't quite see where that was. Now, because all of the entrances and floors and all of that nonsense has been shuffled, all of the requirements for certain dungeons quote-unquote, have been shuffled around. So instead of Sky Castle being locked behind the cube, you could have a completely useless Cardia Island, you could have Matoya, you could have Temple of Fiends Revisited. Like, there could be anything that could be locked behind that stuff.
You know what else could be locked behind the cube? The Rod Lock could be behind the cube lock. Which could be behind the Oxio lock, and that could hold a fiend. It could hold that coveted lich in order to get a sage item. It could hold. We've seen the dwarf cave already, but that could be an option as well. We've seen Elflin Castle, Northwest Castle, Astos and his pet bats could be behind there, and he could hold the key itself, the Mystic Key, which is going to be required in this game.
That is a fine point. A lot of times you're like, oh, the key is required, duh. There's a particular door in Temple of Fiends Revisited that requires the key. You don't normally think about that, because in the vanilla game, when you get there, it's always there. You've had it for a while now. No, you could end up running into the Temple of Fiends Revisited, not have the key, and realize, oh, I goofed.
Guilty.
I done goofed.
Guilty.
Also guilty.
Yeah. Demerine has entered the original volcano. It is a dungeon. That Sylverfyre has entered original volcano. That is a dungeon. They continue the dive of that. Demerine is about to enter the ice cave entrance. We haven't seen this yet. Could this be something free, something easy, something straightforward? It is. It's Onrak.
Ooh, speaking of Oxio locks, we are going to find Onrak here. There can be something completely unrelated locked behind the Oxio. And speaking of Sea Shrine, we have found the Zeus Gauntlets in the particular Sea Shrine floor that has the very, very scary lobsters.
Poogle, correct me if I'm wrong. Have we not seen a vendor item option?
I do not believe we have seen it so far.
So in the original game, the vendor item is what we call it. It was the bottle. It was located at the caravan. You had to put the clues together throughout the world and find the caravan to get the bottle to talk to the fairy and gain access to the sea shrine. That's been randomized. It could be in a shop. It could still be in the caravan, but it could be in Onrak. It could be in Provoca. We haven't seen that yet. And the item itself has been randomized. We could see the tail for sale.
Can I talk about another silly thing that's been randomized?
Love it.
So, we have an option that some people love, some people despise, which is the Sky 4th Floor Teleporter Shuffle.
Nah.
Yep, they have that on. Normally, when you end up going into this 4th floor of Sky, you go 2 up and 2 right, or 2 down and 2 left, or 2 whatever. No, they've got to find it.
No.
Among the guards, the whiz-vamps, the nachos, the airs. They've got to find out where it is.
You can see the practice. You can see Sylverfyre on the right side of your screen has practiced this, taking notes, slowing down just a little bit, trying to find it. Should Sylverfyre perish to, centuries with Fire 2 and it can stun you, can reset, jump back in, and you can know your ground because you have to find it. It could be right next to the entrance. It could be far away. You don't know, and it all looks the same.
Nachos have Brack!
Brack from the Nacho Stones, 2 of Sylverfyre's Light Warriors. Sylverfyre's down to the White Mage. On one knee, Sylverfyre has perished. That's okay. Quick reset, can jump back in, has to traverse this Earth Cave floor to get back there, which Demarine's doing right now. And I gotta think, Poogle, there's something in here.
Can I pop in for a few quick donations?
always cut us off. Go. You got this.
Okay, cool. So, because me and Hex both hate uneven numbers but didn't talk to each other about hating uneven numbers, we've broken it further. Witch's Hex donated $3.38, saying, "Fun fact, if 4 more people enter for shirts, we will hit 5K. I donated $13.89, saying, "I don't like uneven numbers, Hex. War mech. Also, Hex, if you want your donation to go to War Mech, let me know. And SilverMoon9000 donated $20, saying, "For War Mech and that nice shirt."
Well, thank you everyone who has been donating. Let's both donate to see this through and to torture our runners some more. They signed up for this.
They signed up. They did, definitely. And Poogle, when we got the message, I don't know about you. I got a feeling I do, but I couldn't wait to get here. It's such an honor to be here on the RPG Valkyrie stream with these two great players, and to be with you as well. It's always a pleasure.
Oof. Now here is a dilemma. Demerine only has 1 charge of level 4 magic. Life and Exit are both on level 4.
And the lobsters are unrunnable too. Unrunnable shuffles on, Poogle. Oh.
Are we sure
And
this
it's
is
gotta
the
be-
lobsters or the seafood platter?
It's lobsters. They're problematic.
So they not only hit like trucks, as I believe it was either Demerine or Sylverfyre that coined the lobsters with mass means for hands.
Yeah.
But they have Glare, which is one of the insta-kill spells. We have 2 things with insta-kill spells in the same dungeon. We've got Nachos with Brack and Lobsters with Glare. And the thing is, Nachos show up more places than Sky Tower. They show up on the overworld in the river.
They do. And they're prevalent there. I have a question. Oh, is that the marsh cave?
The bottom of this dungeon is the marsh cave floor.
You know what I would do? Demarine's on it right now. It's the bottom of marsh, and she's hurting. There goes another warrior. She's down to 1 warrior. It's the white mage. I would get to that wizard chest immediately, check it, try to get through that fight, do everything I can to at least get information.
And if she's got 1 cast of Exit left, then leave immediately. Because that is the bottom of this dungeon. Marsh is required as it is a incentivized location.
Demarine's gonna make it. Look, moving the pro ring on. Veteran move here from Demerine. Great play. Oh no, it's unrunnable iron galls.
Oh no.
Demerine stands no chance, and it just immediately resets. Doesn't even try. Takes a deep breath. Jumps back. You can look at Demerine, pause, go back to the menu. What am I gonna do now?
So iron golems are a really nice trap tile for gaining experience, but not when they're unrunnable and you're down to a single light warrior. This is... I agree with this move.
Yeah. She's leaving. Poogle, what's the play? I think I know my answer. What would you do?
Go back to the first floor of Volcano and get experience speeds.
Levels.
Yep. Levels.
That
You've got
would be my play.
the Harm 4 option or Harm 2 option on the White Mage. You could go find the Zombo trap tile, which I know she's seen. You could go back into Volcano and that first floor of Volcano and get some XPs or PEDs, as we call them, because they have a lot of experience. Honestly, I would go with a 3-party strat. I would go with a 3-party member strat. I would Dan a party member. Definitely not the White Mage, because you need...
Exit.
Oh no.
Yeah, I need exit. Scorpions are unrunnable, and they have stone. Add them to the list. I'm gonna run out of notepad space, Poogle. We'd like to welcome Falconic FF, the author of the Challenge Seed in our Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord in our community. And I want to point out that I know Demerine does, and I believe Sylverfyre does as well. They have experience with unrunnable golem trap tiles in order to get through a logjam, which is a situation here. It came up, I think it was 2 weeks ago, in a Challenge Seed, and I was actually there watching with Demerine as she was working on trying to get through that roadblock to get an essential required item.
Hey, at least Marsh Locked is not an incentivized location.
Oof. Yeah, our
hey,
players
when in
skip
doubt,
that.
our runners have one fantastic thing at their fingertips. That is Bane.
Bane is a potential option. Demarine's going for... What is Demerine? Is... Warmech.
Warmech or Tiamat, considering Tiamat is kind of vulnerable to Bane. Like, Tiamat is actually decently okay with just throwing caution to the wind and
That's
trying
Warmech!
to Bane
There
him
he
down.
is!
Oh my goodness.
Warmech is here! Oh, No, she just reset out. Oh, is that the nope button?
I think so, but here's the thing. Demerine knows where Wormek is in the encounter table, and knowing her, she'll remember that.
That's exactly what will happen. It looks like Demerine is going after Tiamat. Meanwhile, Sylverfyre on the right side of your screen getting absolutely blasted by the Iron Gull, down to one warrior. Iron Gull continues the assault on Sylverfyre's party, and Sylverfyre perishes. Sylverfyre meets the same fate that Demerine would have, and Sylverfyre's leaving. Smart plays by both players. Experience showing up here for both players.
So, Nachos also have Cremate. This is mean. And Frost. This is extremely mean.
I'm gonna need a spreadsheet. Where's Moist Mogwai and her skills in our Final Fantasy Randomizer community of Excel, so that I can keep track of all these enemies and all the problems that they're causing for both players this afternoon?
I think we could just put a single word in that spreadsheet across most things and just say, there are problems.
Brack? Our Hydras have Brack?
There is the Medusa script, everybody!
That's the Medusa script. You talked about it earlier, Fugel. It's Brack. They're
no.
Cremate, of course.
There we go. And the Nachos had Cremates. So, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, we have found what I referred to earlier as the Medusa Great Medusa script, meaning that there are going to be 3 enemies that have both, Brack, Cremate, Frost, etc., etc. We've seen 2 of them. We've seen the Nachos and the Red Hydras. Red Hydras are also going to be a problem in Volcano.
Yeah. Demerine taking on the Fiend of Air, Tiamat. A Bane spell is no good. Firing an Ice 2. It's got a stunned Light Warrior, Demerine does, and a Stone Light Warrior. Demarine's gonna fire another Bane. Poison Smoke! There it is! Demerine takes down Tiamat to light an orb! Steps away from lighting the air orb here!
So we are at about 38 minutes, and we have gotten the first orb lit by Demerine. It is going to be the air orb with Tiamat down via the Bane spell. Now, Bane and Brack are actually pretty decent methods of dealing with Tiamat, as I said, because if you need to throw caution to the wind and go for the Hail Mary, it's a better play than most sometimes. And boy, was that a Hail Mary.
Getting some things done. Demerine got some information on the encounter table and Destinies or something I can do. Ran into our Hydras with Brack, Nachos with Brack, Cremate. Ran into the Medusa script, really. Natara, are you with us?
Yes, though I am eating. What's up?
Natara, a little birdie told me something about there could be a prize with this match. We'll get to that maybe in just a little bit if you could tell us about it whenever you have that information or you're done eating.
Oh my god, can I tell you about the prize? Well, our ever wonderful Scala Kitty makes lots of wonderful shirts and designs, and she has custom designed a shirt, which she will custom make for the winner to make sure it is their size. So the shirt has not been made yet, but it is of the Final Fantasy 1 intro. She's been posting the picture here, but let me just post the incentives here so you can look at the document itself. All you need to do to enter into the draw for that is to enter a donation of one-time $20, and that just during this run, and that will enter you into that. And speaking of, we did just receive a $20 donation from He Who Is Pale, saying, Wormek, also I want that shirt. So, folks, that shirt is beautiful, and you know you too want the shirt. And I just want to say one more $20, well, no, one and a little bit of a $20 donation will get us to Wormek. We are currently at $123.38, so we are so close to Wormek.
That was I grabbed my cell phone. I'm dialing 1-800-IK-BEN-MAYA. That was for you. Right side of your screen, Sylverfyre is going Peninsula Power. I think this is a good move.
Well, considering that we've got access to Harm 2, we've got access to Harm 4, we've got access to Fire, it's a pretty decent grinding spot for leveling.
Especially the Zombull encounter. It's usually 2 to 4, I believe, Zombulls. Maybe there's one that can show up here pretty fast, and there they are, right on Sylverfyre's screen, especially if that's the first encounter after a hard power cycle.
Going to be a fantastic thing to do, because right now Marsh Cave is just really, really mean.
I don't see. I'm trying to think of other ways. Poogle, you're really good at finding out different odd strategic ways to get past a hurdle, like both players have discovered. I can't think of anything. Yeah.
I know what I do in this situation. It's a little unorthodox, but I would give it a go.
We don't have access to expert. What would be a potential idea for me, Poogle?
What I would do is I would go and find a decent trap tile or the XPs or something, and do a 2-man grind with the black belt and the white mage. Get spell charges up on the white mage, get the black belt having levels up.
Assuming, well, we got the Zeus Gauntlet to potentially attack in that situation. With the white mage, could the black belt do enough damage? Definitely an option. But I like the party selection for that, for sure. Sylverfyre continues to run the 3 light warrior strategies. Both players kind of in the neck there, right between Provoka headed south. And this is a good example that both players, Sylverfyre about to show it to us, the new open progression. It started back in May. This year, 2018, it is open. Before, this river system was not connected, now it is. It allows for more options for gameplay, different strategies involved, a whole bunch of different things that our development team put together. The Nitzes, Meridians, and Trope himself. Septimus is here. I think Septimus is still around joining us for this great show here on the RPG Valkyries. So, a whole bunch of different things. The game's been modernized. FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. There's our Discord for all that sort of information. And, Poogle, we joined the Discord and the Final Fantasy Randomizer community itself right around the same time, and oh, did we have a blast.
Well, I mean, I didn't do the most sane of starts, but yeah. I learned this game in pieces. So, I remember when I actually joined right around when this was an alpha. When the floor shuffle was just starting to get kicked off, and I decided, why not? So I didn't learn the game with dungeons by dungeons, I learned the dungeons by floor.
The only way Rainbow Poogle can.
I don't know Earth Cave. I still legitimately don't know Earth Cave and need to pull up a map, because I don't know Earth Cave still. It's a problem. But it's a fun problem.
Is Earth Cave your least favorite dungeon when you play the game?
Depending? It's probably that just because I don't know that dungeon as well as I would like, and sometimes it's just...
Thank you for joining us here on the RPG Valkyries Community Marathon. It started on October 7th. It's going all the way through until October 13th this year, of course, 2018, for the fundraising for the Take This to support mental health. And I love it. It's absolutely fantastic cause and a great show being put on. We've got Scala restreaming tonight, or excuse me, this afternoon. I told you I'd do it, Poogle. I'm so used to working at night with you.
Well, it is. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and the lobsters are still awful.
Here in where I'm, my neck of the woods, northern Michigan, the snow fell the other day, so we can feel that coming. And also, big special thanks to Natara being our host tonight, keeping us all updated with donations and where are we. Will Warmech be required? Letting us know the prize of the t-shirt and everything. We certainly thank you very much for keeping us all updated and in line.
Speaking of updates, we did just get a $20 donation from Sizer saying, of course you realize this means war mech. And with that, we have met the war mech incentive. So thank you so much to everyone for those donations. And everyone who donated $20, you're now entered into that draw for a shirt. And that also means we are less than $7 away from $5,000. So there are lots of donation incentives still open. And just by donating $20 during this run, even if it's for another run, you will still be entered into a draw for that shirt. So we will link the incentives again. And let's get that $5,000.
Did you hear that, Poogle?
I did.
Warmech! Warmech must happen!
We had Warmech! Which is really good considering that Demerine has already seen it.
Early in the encounter table as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I was unsure. I know it exists.
So. Demerine equips an ice sword, hovering right around level 10. Then we're going to take a shot at this golem trap tile. She's got experience with this. It's 2 golems this time. They are unrunnable. They will always be unrunnable. Going through her spell list. There's a Lightning 2 into a couple of the Golems, 40 and 74 damage. Golem Wall was back, but not too bad. All 4 warriors so far surviving. Fire 2 chipping away. Heal 3. Preemptive Heal 3 from Demerine. Gonna try to keep that HP up. There it is, round 2 against these Golems, and she's got full HP and she's done a little bit of damage.
At least the Golems are missing every so often. Though when they hit, it's not super awful. Like, this is gonna be a test of endurance, of who goes down first.
This is good. Round 3. All 4 warriors are still standing. Demerine's starting to hurt. She's starting to feel it. She continues to attack. 111 and about 50 from Lightning 2. She heal 3s again. That's after. We're going to get to another round. Demerine is playing this by the book. She thought about this. She's got experience with it. She's trying to execute her plan. Iron Gulls continue to attack. Ice Sword's not doing anything. She didn't plan for that. The fighter is almost out of this match. Lightning 2s, there's another heal 3. Again, still 4 warriors standing for Demerine, trying to get past this. This is the roadblock. You must get this done in order to get this key item we believe is the floater.
Could be the ship.
Could be the ship. Lightning 2 again. Down goes the fighter. Demerine's lost the melee attack. Demerine's still with the 3 main light warriors alive, though. Good HP, they're all over 100. Gets off another heal 3. Good initiative for Demerine. Can she take down these 2 golems which block her path? There's 1! There's 2! She got him! Okay, she's got the Exit spell and the White Mage. She gets a whole bunch of levels. What is the item, Poogle?
It's the herb. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have a required item. We do have a required item. Demerine can exit out and immediately save, because it's just... Oh my goodness, that's just silly. So, the herb needs to be turned into the Elf Prince. The one thing we have not shuffled is we have not shuffled where you need to turn the items in, because that would just be silly. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But you do need to return the herb to the Elf Prince. It is going to be something that is completely randomized as far as what it's going to be, but as we've not seen any other fetch quest turn-in locations aside from the dwarves, it could either go to the dwarves and be a TNT of sorts, or we could just get something. Now, I wonder if Demerine remembers where the elf castle is, which it is actually in the original dwarf cave.
It is. That's the next destination. Demerine will head directly there. Maybe stop off and get some heal potions. Poogle, that blew me away. Great plan from Demerine that was executed. Again, the experience, I believe, from Falconic's designed Challenge Seed, I think, helped prep Demerine for this. She made the adjustments. Now, can Sylverfyre match it? Sylverfyre's on their way toward their toward that Golem Trap Tile and that big bottleneck. Right now, I would think Demerine's opened up a nice lead.
That she has. She has gotten to Elflands, which is in Vanilla Elfland, as she is running all the way back to the dwarves in order to turn this in. We're going to find out just what exactly this is going to be. Because, about 49 minutes, and we are just now finding out what in the heck this game wants from us.
Poogle, could it be the ruby? If it's the ruby...
If it's the ruby, I'm going to lose my...
it's going to be great.
Lose my mind.
It's a very strong potential. It heavily favors it being the floater and opening this game, changing the status quo.
Could be a ship.
Could be the ship. Could be the ruby. That would make things very interesting.
I want it to be the ruby so badly.
I do too. That would be that not often times that we see scenario where you would have to walk through the Titan's Tunnel and go somewhere else in order to get progression. Demerine has made it to Elfland Castle.
It's the floater.
Dun da da da! Status quo's changed. Demerine is the first to obtain the floater. This will yield you the airship.
The entire overworld is now at her fingertips. She can go wherever she needs to go, find basically anything else, get there with the floater, get there with the canoe. She's got the world open now.
She will head directly to the Ryukon Desert, and then, gosh, there's so many options, it's almost, what do you do? Meanwhile, Sylverfyre making their way down towards the bottom of marsh and that bottleneck that Demerine so perfectly executed to get through. And that was 2 golems. That wasn't just 1. Because it's a 1 to 2 trap tile. Sometimes you saw 1, sometimes you did 2. Of course, Demerine gets 2 of them and got through it.
So, there is one thing that I wouldn't be surprised if she went and gone and to do. We've still not seen a couple of towns, and we've still not seen the vendor item. I wouldn't be surprised if she went in search of Provoca for that, not necessarily the vendor item, but for Vicky the Pirate, who's going to have a required item, an incentivized item, what have you, and the level 2 spell shops. We've not seen a lot of those high-powered, high-hitting spells. We've not seen Nuke, Lit 3, Ice 3, Fade, Life 2, Invis 2, Warp. We've got a lot of things that are still MIA.
Lamp.
We saw a lamp.
Oh, I missed it.
Lamps and Elfins.
I would definitely have Provoca as number 1 on my list. On number 2, not quite a 1A and 1B scenario, Sardis Cave. Especially if it's easy to get to in a potential item like that. But the level 2 magic just puts Provoca right now at the top of the list. So I would look at Poogle, just like you said as well. Let's just get some entrances and gather some information, because towns will not be behind anything. When you go into an entrance, if it's a town, you will go directly to the town. You don't have to dig for something like that.
Which is really nice, all things considered, because that would just be silly.
Can I pop in with some donations?
By all means, as I will just say one thing,
Yes.
we are no
Kraken.
longer Crack-a-lackin'.
Kraken!
Oh, so we do. I do want to let you know that due to everyone's generosity, we have hit $5,000. So thank you so much for all this hype. And let me read out some of the donations which have gotten us there. So we did get $20 from our very own commentator, Rainbow Poogle, saying, Warmech was just met. Heck it, still donating. Also, if you would like that donation to go somewhere else, let me know. It can be after the run if you're busy, because, commentating. We did get $20 from Nightwind Song, saying, well, since we've got war, let's just have some peace, or at least cute animals. Put this to saving the critters in the Super Metroid Link to the Past run. We got $100 from Ikbin Mia, saying, please place donation to Final Fantasy VI naming Mog Poogle, but only if Poogle is okay with it.
Oh, Maya, that's really sweet of you. Thank you. Do it. I'm okay with it.
Done and done. So $20 from Anonymous saying, Final Fantasy Randomizer Hype. I hereby declare that the Vorpal is the absolute game changer.
Game changer!
And if you would like that $20 to go somewhere, please feel free to whisper me, identifying yourself as the particular Anonymous, and I will place it to where you would like. And lastly, we did get a $35 donation from Ametrine Kaith. It's something else, but it got cut off in the name, unfortunately, which says Name Lock Taxes. So all of those have been entered. Good luck, and thank you so much for your donations. The shirt donation prize, though, is still open until the end of this run.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Natara. We got a whole bunch of things that happened while Natara was able to get to that $5,000. Thank you very much, fans. RPG Valkyries, congratulations. Let's keep it going. Right now, we've got a Bane Sword find. We got a bunch of other things right now, but it's Sylverfyre. Attention to the right side of your screen, Sylverfyre, because they're trying to make this happen. Down one warrior is going to reset and have to try again.
So, while all of those lovely donations were being read, and again, thank you, everyone. It's just, you guys are great. So, we got a bunch of things shown up. The Kraken floor is in Sardis Cave. So that kind of mucky brown color, someone's been gunking up the Kraken's water, and this is why they don't like them. We also found Melmans in the west side of the Titan's Tunnel, and we did see Nuke.
Nuke.
So Nuke is at level 5.
Yeah, and also that's Red Mage learnable. It was in the 4th slot. You do not have to class promote for that for a Red Mage.
Really nice. Though, considering what they're up against, they might just go searching for that tail in class promote anyway. We also had the 2nd floor of Mirage Tower in Titan's East, I believe. And Melbourne is also a dungeon of some sort. We're not sure yet. Demerine, I believe, is currently diving it.
I think that's Earth Cave. The original Earth Cave, I think, is where Demerine is. I took a big note of it because I saw a sword in there, Poogle, that you like.
Uh-huh?
It's called the Bane Sword.
That's super nice considering that, yeah, they got level 1 Bane, but it does give something for the White Mage to do on occasion. Because oftentimes you're just sitting there waiting to heal, waiting to do something else. That does look like the arcade palette, so... So what this trap tile is, and it's just going to be wraiths. So normally this is the Agama trap tile, famous or infamous for being a great level grinding spot for the parties, but not going to go after it. And we've also found Lich now.
Lich.
Is Lich in Earth Cave still?
I believe this is the original Earth Cave. That could be 2 fiends for Demerine. Lich has already taken out Tiamat with Bane, and Demerine's going after it. Gonna look to light her 2nd orb.
She's got Harm 2, she's got Harm 4, she's got Fire, etc. Oh, dear
She's got
lord!
Trolls with Fire 3. Playing the spoiler. Fun Police coming up, it's the Trolls. being trolly.
Yeah, I believe the fun police are anything shaped like a lobster. The scorpions, I believe, have stone touch.
Here we go. Demerine versus Lich, trying to light her second orb. Harm 4. Fire 2 looks like Demerine's going to attack with. I also got an ice sword on that fighter. Harm 4 for a $1.59. How about Harm 4 for 9? Oh. Who? What?
I blinked.
See? Never forbid you look away for 1 second.
I'm writing things down. I look back up and, well, that's the second orb for you.
That's 2 orbs for Demerine, halfway there. As far as the requirements for the end game, Poogle, 4 orbs, 4 fiends, gotta go down. Warmech has been voted on by the fans. They've earned it. We're gonna see that this afternoon. What else do you need that we talked about earlier other than the Mystic Key in order to beat this game and get through the final dungeon?
Well, you're going to need the loot. The loot is the other absolutely, all puns intended, required item to get through the tile right after the Phantom and Temple of Fiends Revisited. Again, not something you normally think about, because you'll, in the vanilla game, just have it. However, you are going to need to find it in order to get through to the full Temple of Fiends Revisited. You don't have it, then you don't get through. And that's going to be somewhere.
As you said, absolutely. Demerine has moved on to the dungeon that was found. Oh, the lobsters just take out Sylverfyre on the right side of your screen. Sylverfyre's starting to tread water a little bit, not spinning wheels, and gonna try to continue. Sylverfyre's obviously got a plan to try to get through this bottleneck. We'll see if Sylverfyre can get there. And Demerine is digging that dungeon that is in the original Melmond area, extending her lead just a little bit more, her level lead, her progression lead. Obviously an orb lead as well for Demerine.
We found an eye. We've not found an eye anymore.
Level 14 for Demerine. Badman, not a fan. My second least favorite enemy in the game, and you can see why, as the Badmen attempt to pound Demerine a little bit. Demerine did not leave and save. Gonna continue the dig.
Which is gonna end up with a floor of volcano. Looks like she is potentially going to leave.
She's leaving. Okay, yep. And this is a good move. Get out of here, save up. Why are there enemies on Demerine's airship? Get off her airship!
They're undead, just chilling. Undead pirates. That's my excuse. They're in Melmond. They died of the vampire. They're undead pirates. All they want to do is go home to Bicky.
Taking out those undead pirates yields Demerine level 15 on a few light words. Demerine's leaving. Going back to the original Onrak?
Melmond.
Melmond. Nuke? Is it Nuke? Enough money for that?
Potentially. Yes. Yes, it would be.
Okay. 2 Nuke casters for Demerine, strengthening Demerine's position in this match. The Black Mage and the Red Mage will have shots of Nuke. The Zeus Gotten being put to use by Sylverfyre, attempting to make their way back to the bottleneck of the Gauls, the potentially 2 golems that are guarding the herb. Sylverfyre wants the herb. It is required in this match this afternoon in order to, we know from Demerine, obviously, Sylverfyre doesn't know it, but definitely feels that this needs to be done. Sylverfyre is correct. It will yield the floater to get into the air. We're nearing the hour mark here. We haven't done a ton. Poogle, the enemies have been terrible. The Medusa script, unrunnable lobsters, they're wheeling around Mazmoons, and that bottleneck of the Gauls was problematic for both players.
Problematic, more like downright terrifying. Now, here's the thing. We've got a bunch of really, really awful things. We've got Brack, Frost, and Cremate on the Medusa script, so 3 enemies have that. We've seen 2 of them. One of them is going to be a problem in the volcano, because that's a red Hydra. Syl is going to go at it again. Come on, you've got this. Kick some Iron Golem butt.
Here we go. Sylverfyre against the Golems. Right here on the Ragnarok Marathon. Sylverfyre got 2 of them. She reset because she got 2 of them. Didn't take a shot at it.
Yeah, they might be trying to reset just for the 1.
I understand that play, definitely. If your attack mode is, especially if it's melee, we know from Demerine's experience that Iceor was hitting 2 hits, 2 damage. It was not making much happen. But Sylverfyre's going to go opt for this strategy. Demerine's going to use a nuke charge, taking on 4 mana cores. There's going to be over 1,000 experience in this 4 mana cores fight. Very, very good. That could get Demerine to right on level 16 for a couple of her light warriors.
So we've got Sky 1 into Volcano 3 into Sky 3 into Sky 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Shenanigans.
That is a lot of condensed chest at the same time.
It is.
Like, this asterisk floor is a little more annoying to get, but we have found the cube, as this is one of the incentivized locations. This is the adamant chest in the vanilla game, but instead of the adamant, we have found a slightly more cube-shaped adamant, I suppose.
Yes. No, I will not cite it. I know that's coming in chat. Long story. Fire 2, looks like Demerine's just gonna take that cube for now, maybe move forward and see where this leads?
That could be possible. Considering that I believe Demerine did find the cube lock, which is, if my notes are correct, which they should be somehow, the cube lock is at Crescent Lake.
It's Crescent Lake, right? There's the rod lock. Demerine's located the rod lock in, I think we're in the original Melmon, so Demerine cannot progress here without the rod. She can raid some treasures. She can take out the vampire. Behind
Another
that
incentivized
vampire
location
is an incentivized chest, and that's exactly what she's going for. Do you check other chests here, or do you go for that and try to get that out of the way?
Personally, I'd go for that. Hope it's the rod. Continue going down.
Yep.
And if that's the case, exit out and come back for the chest later. Especially considering if I find what I'd want for items for gear, they've got some gear, but there's a lot more that they probably do want, considering that spells are lacking a little. The one saving grace is that I don't think we've found Fade yet, and Fade could still be at level 2, which would mean that it would be both red and white mage learnable.
That could be Fade, could be, Warp could be in there, maybe a nice 3, something. Something to get these players going. We're past the hour mark now, and Provoca is even more paramount importance. Sylverfyre hits the unrunnable lobster trap tile again.
So here's the silly thing. And this is something I've run into before. Because locations have been shuffled around, they could be hidden behind certain things. Provoca, in a very evil world, would be chime-locked at the Vanilla Mirage Tower, and be absolutely awful to get to.
Poogle, I don't know if you caught it or not, but we had a special challenge match about a month ago. I made the challenge, and it was against the #1 ranked player of points and in Final Fantasy Randomizer, Romulus. He was undefeated. #1 player, absolutely on fire, and I wanted to beat him. I wanted to be the first person to beat him. And I did not. Romulus took me down, partly because Elfland was locked in the Mirage Tower behind the possession of the chime, which I never found. And
everyone
so
say hi to the vampire!
Who? What?
The vampire!
Where?
Everyone say bye to the vampire!
Incentivized location chest for Demerine is the Mystic Key! Ooh, that's part of the equation. We talked about it, and that's huge. That opens up the Canary Castle, Poogle. There's an item there, too.
That does indeed. Now, having the key unlocks a lot of locations. It unlocks 8 chests in Dwarf Cave, 8 chests? 6 chests? 8 chests. 8 chests in Dwarf Cave, 8 chests in Canaria Castle, 4 chests in Elfland Castle, 3 in Temple of Fiends, 3 in Northwest Castle,
3 in Marsh Cave,
3 in Marsh Cave, I don't think anyone's going back there, a singular chest in Sea Shrine. If that's something, then, I mean, I'll be happy, but what the heck. Provoca!
Provoca has been found. Where did Demerine go? Was that Grassy?
I have no idea.
No, me either.
So...
Directly to the pirate fight. Bane Sword! Could the Bane Sword get the call? No, it's Lightning.
So, we don't have unsafe pirates, which is fine. Oftentimes, for shenanigan purposes, we'll have unsafe pirates, which means, thunder pirates. Let's put it that way.
What did Demerine get? I was watching Sylverfyre from Bricky.
Crown.
Demerine just continues to extend her lead in this match. The crown... going to yield another item, key experience. I think we're probably nearing the 12 item boost of the key experience. It'll be 150% once, is it 12 of the 21 items, I believe,
Yes.
are attained. Okay, so we got the cube, the key, I think the canal was found as well. Those all count toward that, the floater, the airship. So Demarine's definitely closing in on that experience boost here, just past the hour mark, about an hour 6 minutes into this match.
To give a bit of a recap, I do want to see these, Cure 3 and Fog 2 at level 2 white magic. Fog 2 is going to be really nice.
Gosh, it's just, how about black magic, Poogle? How about some Brack or something?
Well, Zap and Warper at level 2, which is nice. Warp going to be
Okay.
really nice for Ice Cave.
There's only one enemy in the game of Final Fantasy that has immunities to the time element. The Zap spell is the time element. There's only one enemy. It is the final boss. Chaos.
Warp is going to be super nice for Ice Cave. Ice Cave being incentivized as well. Actually, most locations are incentivized in this set of flags. I think the only locations that are not incentivized are the volcano and the locked marsh. So the red dragon chest and the locked marsh cave item will not be incentivized. Thank goodness to marsh. Marsh is mean.
Sylverfyre found Warmac, quickly reset out. So Sylverfyre has the information of how to quickly find Warmac now, where in the encounter table is matching Demarine's knowledge.
And it was indeed one of the islands that was Provoca, and another Cardia island happens to be Lefane.
Double bottom. The tiny island in the Cardia Islands is the annoying Earth floor. Earth B1. Demarine's leaving it, elects not to dig it. Demarine's won matches digging that floor before. There's the Armory.
Ooh! Now, Armory is aptly so named because there are just a lot of chests in here. There's
Demarine's gonna dig this one though, right?
Oh, absolutely. There are 4 or 5 chests that are scattered around, like, with trap tiles in front of them or whatnot. But we've got this collection of 10 chests? 10, 11, something like that? 11.
12?
There's the Power Gauntlet!
Power Gauntlet. The value of the Power Gauntlet is immeasurable in this game. I'm not going to say it's essential, because there aren't many essential things, but you cannot put a price on the Power Gauntlet. You want to tell us about the Power Gauntlet, Poogle?
So, what the Power Gauntlet does is, honestly, for the life of me, I can't remember which spell it does, but it will buff the person that you choose it to buff. I honestly can't remember which spell. I think it's Temper?
Saber!
It is a self-saber. That it is. So
self-casting only.
Indeed. But that means you can just stack it on a person. And, they can get pretty beefy. Oftentimes it's a situation where you might want to, put it on the black belt if you're leveling black belt, put it on the fighter if you're leveling the fighter, and just go to town. Let's see how that ends up panning out.
So let's talk about, if there's a quick moment, about some of the donation incentives we've got coming up.
Go for it.
Excellent. So we've filled out all the donation incentives for this run. So thank you very much for that. But to remind you, any $20 donation made towards any incentive, but during this Final Fantasy I randomizer run, will enter you into a draw for a beautiful t-shirt made by Scala Kitty. Because it is made by her, it means that she will be able to custom make to your size and a choice of particular shirt, of course, to what's available. So custom made shirts can guarantee it will fit. So $20 minimum donation for that. The next run after this one is another randomizer. It is the Link to the Past Super Metroid combo randomizer. So we have the two main donation incentives there that tend to happen for both Super Metroid and Link to the Past randomizer, and that is we have Save and Kill the Animals, where save is currently at $50 and kill is at $0. So if you want to save those frames, we need to get some donations in. Also, validation chest. Currently, nobody cares whether anyone opens or does not open the validation chest, which is sad. You don't. Well, actually, I love opening the validation chest to see what trolley item is in there, but it is faster to make your run not valid and to skip that chest. So we also have tonight coming up is a Final Fantasy VI run, which is going to be fabulous, and that includes naming basically all of the characters in Final Fantasy VI, most of which are still open. And there's also an incentive to save or kill Sid, which currently has no donations, but that is interesting. There's a manipulation that they do in order to save Sid in order to get the correct fish. So that is definitely more difficult to do and definitely a lot of fun. But, you know, it's more dramatic and time consuming to kill Sid. So, you know, pick your choices there.
Thank you, Natara, for all of that wonderful information. We have found Matoya at the bottom of one of the Cardia Islands, and we have found now the first floor of Sea Shrine, the Sea Shrine split. In the, I believe, last one that we are to be checking, we are still missing one Fiend. We do not know where Carrie is. We do know where Kraken is, being at Sarda, and we've already seen Demerine take down both the Fiend of Air, Tiamat, and the Fiend of Earth, Lich.
Thank you, Natara. Poogle, our tracker. It's Allie Gerbrap. Thank you so much, Allie, for taking care of us. Does so much tracking and so much over in our Final Fantasy Randomizer. Thank you for joining us tonight. This afternoon. Allie, one of our best trackers.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, God, fantastic. Always on top of everything, keeping us straight in line, so we know where everything is and what everyone has.
We have got Sylverfyre going after that Warmac. As that is one of the incentive donations that is during this lovely, lovely marathon. It is the incentive donation that has been already met for this run, is to fight the Warmac, which is going to be a trip. Oh boy.
Target. Ikben Maya, the adversary. That's Drumbordus joining us in chat as well. Demerine has found the top of Marsh. There's 4 chests here. Some of them are linked to the bottom of Marsh, or a middle Marsh floor. Demarine's going to check this off and going to be able to mark off on her tracker or her notes or whatever system that she has that the left side of the Sea Shrine split leads to nothing.
So, on the topic of linked chests, one of the potential strategies people can do in this method, this format of the randomizer, is to utilize it to their advantage. Now, let's say you find the carry floor. There's a bunch of linked chests on the carry floor you just don't ever check, ever. Because you go on the floor before that, or the floor before that, and you find them already. But let's say you don't know where that floor is, but you find the carry floor. You can then go and check said chests. And let's say you never find the floor that has all of those chests. You've now checked at least a couple more chests than you have checked before, so that you can actually get more stuff in, find your items, find all of the things that you need. Speaking of needing things in chests, it looks like Demerine is going to head to the Castle Armory. Yep. There are 6 chests in here, one of them being an incentivized item.
What do you think,
by my count, is going to bring them super close.
I'm thinking the slab.
Oxiel.
Okay. Demerine closes in on the final chest. It is very adamantly the adamant, and Demerine knows where the dwarf cave is. Does Demerine go that route? I would think so.
So, let's see here.
Cremate from the nachos into Sylverfyre. Sylverfyre, we think, is going after Warmac, the War Machine. Picked up Warmac just about a minute ago. Warmac ambushed Sylverfyre, immediately hit the reset button. Gonna go in for another round, potentially with Warmac. There's Quad X, erased and terminated is the nacho. Sylverfyre takes out the nacho. Sylverfyre's gonna leave and save and go back in.
We've got a bunch of money in the Elfland chest, as we see the other brack obnoxious things.
1 hour, 15 minutes. Our clear leader is Demerine. 2 orbs lit. The Mystic Key is flying in the air. Was able to get through a pretty difficult bottleneck of unrunnable golems that guarded an absolutely essentially required progression item at the time. Sylverfyre still trying to get through there as Sylverfyre gets bracked by the red hydras, and all 4 party members get stoned. Quick reset to jump back in and attempt to continue the quest for Sylverfyre in order to find some way to get past that bottleneck.
Jog my memory, where was the key?
The original Melmond held the Mystic Key, and it was given by... It was through the rod block.
Oh, right, it was behind the...
Vampire.
Vampire, yep.
Mhm.
'Cause that puts us very close to that 12 item limit.
Notice on Demarine's screen that the encounter was runnable. It looks like the seafood platter. It was the trolls and the scorpions. That formation, Final Fantasy goes by formations, not necessarily enemy groups. And that one was runnable. So if I was to guess, that is the triple formation with the sea snakes that just didn't happen to show up. They were off having lunch somewhere else. And that one might be runnable. That's going to come up later in the game. And it looks like just the scorpions one might be, lobster one might be unrunnable.
Well, at least one of them shows up in Temple of Fiends Revisited, so water floor is looking like the most heinous right now.
Can I pop in with some donations?
By all means.
So from the one who hates even numbers because she hates me, $9.99 donation from Scala Kitty, who I actually love, saying, let's save Sid and have some hope in the world of ruin. So for Final Fantasy VI, and $15 from Tina Hack saying $5 each for no validation chest from the Super Metroid, A Link to the Past randomizer. Final Fantasy VI Go-Go's name is J Doom, and Final Fantasy VI Realm's name is Sketch. Tina Hacks does run Final Fantasy VI as well. She is a speedrunner of that game and does a fabulous job. So, yeah, thank you so much for those donations.
Thank you, everybody. Meanwhile, the warp trick was just pulled off by Demerine. Using the warp spell, so you don't have to traverse the ice cave multiple times. It's used successfully by Demerine, and the incentivized look was a ribbon. Very nice.
So, ribbon is off the table. It's at least one of those magical items that will protect you from the insta-kill spells, all that not lovely nonsense, or lovely nonsense, depending on if you're using it.
Mm-hmm.
That means
Gotta have it equipped.
Oh, absolutely. That means our remaining incentivized locations that have not been checked are the Cave of Ordeals. Well, Castle Ordeals, Cave Ordeals, it's Ordeals, it's an ordeal in itself.
Yeah, it's an ordeal.
A couple of the Fetch Quest NPCs, and the Sea Shrine. We have not seen what Matoya has, we have not seen what Astos has, and we have not seen what the Fairy has from the bottle. We've also not seen the vendor item, which means the vendor item is at the caravan.
Could be at the caravan. We've seen Gaia, we've seen Onrak, Provoca. Have we seen Crescent Lake?
Oh no, we've not seen Crescent Lake, so we've also not seen where the sages are.
Okay. Lich has been taken down by Demerine, so that's not going to be a factor in the design. That's a little bit odd that these two players are matched up with tonight, or this afternoon. Sylverfyre's back in Elfland saving. Sylverfyre's hitting the road. I've got to think that Sylverfyre's ready to make their move to try to get past this roadblock, get that herb, which will lead to the floater.
They've done a decent amount of level grinding, so once they do get past the golems, which are not fun, then they'll be able to get their floater, which comes from the herb from the prince, and traverse the world. And considering that they've already done a bunch of level grinding, I'm not sure they're going to have to do so much level grinding if they want to catch up, so they might just be able to go.
It could be, definitely could be a time saver for Sylverfyre. As Demarine's just kind of going for a ride. Just wandering
Might be
around.
trying to look for the dwarves? Because they do have... She does have the adamant turn it.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to give us another key item. Might put her at 11?
It's pretty close. It's definitely double digits. This could be an opal bracelet, I believe, is an option. It might not necessarily. It could be a ship.
Could be the Masmoon.
It could be the Masmoon. Yes,
Could be
the
the tail.
legendary Masmoon. The tail. We have not seen Bahamut. I believe, Poogle, are the NPCs Bahamut, Dr. Oon, and the Elf Doctor shuffled in this match? I believe they are. And I didn't notice who was in Melmond, if they are. The rod.
Shuffle them?
Yes, the rod has been picked up when the adamant turn-in the dwarf cave. And Demerine, with a veteran move, turns in the adamant to pick up the rod. can get past the rod block potentially. No double dipping here. Doubles down essentially. Is able to check the Keylock Dwarf Cave area. There's unfortunately there's not much in here. Thor's hammer is good, but yes, a newer option is to actually shuffle Bahamut, who yields you the class change, Dr. Un, who will translate the slab, and the Elf Doctor, who will wake up the prince via the herb. Now we obviously have already woken up the prince with the herb, so we know that the Elf Doctor was located in Elfland Castle. But we're not quite sure yet if those have been shuffled at this point. I believe that's in alpha testing only, which we do. We actually leave that open to the players. We play it all the time.
I do believe that is just the alpha site currently.
Okay. We are on the live site for this match. That makes sense. Demerine heads to Gaia. That's Sarda. Add another item to the list. Is it the Opal Bracelet? Is it the ship? Is it the loot? Oh, how about the Oxyale from Sarda?
I believe that puts her at the 12 item threshold. Now, 12 key items means that the experience gained will be up to 150%.
Mm-hmm. Now you start to think about taking out that Warmack. So no sign of the tail. There's the caravan. Is this the vendor item? Is it a vendor item for sale? It is not. So that means Crescent Lake? Google, I think
that would have to mean that Crescent Lake is the vendor item. Now, Crescent Lake could be in one of 3 or 4 more locations. One of those is Chime Locked, which would be really, really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be, because then that would just be really awkward.
There we go, Sylverfyre. 1 hour, 22 minutes. Sylverfyre takes another crack at this bottleneck. Sylverfyre gets 1 Iron Gall. 1. Starting to attack. It's the Zeus Gauntlet, it looks like.
They've got this.
Preemptive
They've
heal
so got
3.
this.
The Iron Gall gets initiative and just takes a swipe, doesn't do too much, and the heal 3 gets off afterwards. Sylverfyre's going to get to round 2 with all 4 warriors at full HP and standing and some damage done. The Zeus Gauntlet again is going to be used, and a preemptive heal potion. Only 1 damage from the thief. The Iron Gall missed. That's how Demerine got through
lovely
this.
thing.
106 from the Lightning 2 cast of the Zeus Gauntlet. Sylverfyre's starting to gain some momentum. There's another Zeus Gauntlet. It's only 48. How about a Lightning 2 on top with a double down for about 100 damage total?
Well,
17 damage, a critical hit.
That Iron Golem is still missing, and it is down!
Lightning 2 takes out the Goblin. Sylverfyre has made it at 1 hour, 23 minutes through the bottleneck, getting a whole bunch of levels. Sylverfyre tried to get back in this game, picks up the herb, immediately to the menu with the EXIT spell. Sylverfyre is back in this game. Meanwhile, Demerine is somewhere in a dungeon. I believe this is the original Onrak.
Well, I believe it is.
I'm just going to pop in real quickly with a $20 donation from Get Cooped, which says, "This run has been great so far. Great runners, casters, and tracker. Please divide this up as you would like." So thank you very much. I'll discuss that with the team once they finish their run, and we'll put that somewhere cool. Thank you so much for your donation.
Demerine has located Carrie, the Fiend of Fire. Demerine immediately goes in. I didn't see Demerine check that incentivized chest, the Red Dragon chest. I didn't see that, did you?
Red Dragon chest is not incentivized in these flags. It is like the only thing that isn't.
Oh, Rainbow Poogle, thank you very much. My apologies. Demerine loses 1 light warrior. It's the Black Mage. Fog 2 is out, raising the Absorb defense. For a physical melee attack from Carrie, the Absorb is raised with the Fog 2 cast. Carrie doesn't fight this time. Fires off Lightning 2, does a little bit of damage to Demerine. There's another Fog 2 cast. Demerine's setting herself up, starting to attack. 3 hits for 260. How about a nuke, Carrie? Eat this for 165. Chaos! Carrie is terminated.
Chaos, not quite yet.
Not yet.
It looks like that was in the original Onrak.
Onrak.
Narrowing down the locations that the waterfall could be, that the Crescent Lake could be.
We've seen Kraken.
Kraken was at Sarda.
Yeah. So that's the 4 fiends. What about the loot? No sign of the loot. Could the chime be blocking access to the loot? Could the loot be in your waterfall that you just talked about?
Well, we've not seen the loot, the chime, the ship, the TNT, or the crystal. There's still a bunch of things that could lead to other things, but we found Crescent Lake,
There
and
it
I'm gonna
is.
cut myself off.
Crescent Lake is. Did we see a vendor item?
Oh goodness, I didn't see it.
I didn't either. My stream is spinning on me real quick. So we just won't. We'll see if it was the tail. Drumbordist.
Drumbordist, thank you. Allergy Prop, our tracker, also being super awesome.
And we did just get a $10 donation from Margaret Ann saying, of course I'm going to donate while watching two of my favorite people play. Dem and Syl, I know you can't hear this, but you've got this. Heart. So send me a whisper, Margaret Ann. Let me know where you would like that donation to go, and thank you very much.
Well, I hope everyone's ready for a day in the park, because we're gonna have that today with some confused
What
old
is
men.
going on? What is? They're supposed to be the Circle of Sages. They are not in a circle.
Well, this is the confused old men flag.
Confused old men. Look at them wander. What are they doing? It's like, oh. But one
Where's
of them
my circle? I demand a circle.
That one was hitting the bottle.
We can't do that on a stream this early in the afternoon.
Apparently you can if you're a confused old man. The confused old man gets caught by Demerine, hands over the bottle, that opens up the ferry. The ferry spring in the town of Gaia, which Demerine does know where it is. More options. Could be that required loot. Could be the things that you rattled off. The crystal. The ship. That sort of stuff as well. The crown, I don't believe, has been turned in as well.
We are missing one incentivized item that is not a quest item. We are still missing the Mazmoon.
Ooh, Demerine is a Mazmoon fan. She is Team Mazmoon through and we've had these discussions. And Demerine probably wants that. That might solidify her endgame plan. I would think that is how she executes and wins games like this. That's how she got into the play-in race, went 3-2 in the previous spring tournament. She just got 5th place recently in a league match out of, 35 people, and did a lot of damage with that Mazmoon. She knows how to execute it and very thorough with it.
Well, to be fair, it is the best white mage weapon.
There's no question about that. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Absolutely. It is the best weapon for the white mage. It's the legendary Mazmoon.
And Sylverfyre finally getting their floater and taking to the skies.
Chat, give it up for Sylverfyre. Never gave up. Had a plan. Adjusted. Did everything Sylverfyre knew that they could do. Made different sorts of moves. Got levels. Tried to take on a Warmac. Took on Nachos. Red Hydras. Threw all this stuff at Sylverfyre. Doesn't matter anymore. Sylverfyre is in the air. Finds Kraken, the Fiend of Water, at the original Sardis Cave. And Demerine has dug out Castle Ordeal. Incentivized item.
Now, a fun little thing about Castle Ordeals is that there is a little warp trick that can be used if you take the wrong pillar, as the pillars are shuffled, because that wouldn't be fun otherwise. Why would we not shuffle the pillars?
Oh, yeah.
If you take the wrong pillar, you can use the warp spell to return to the previous pillar room and retry what you're trying to do. As Demerine is going to demonstrate right now. She's going to warp from one pillar to the other. We are closing in on that incentivized item and the trap tile, because we've not seen the really big heavy-hitting trap tiles aside from the iron golems.
No, not quite yet. So Demerine's gonna go ahead and get through the pillar maze. She's got that information. Something. She knows how to quickly get through and knows the path. Poogle, have we seen the original Castle Ordeal entrance?
We've not.
Okay. So we got that, and we've got the chime. We do not have the chime. The chime lock of the Mirage Tower, I believe, are the two entrances we have not seen from either player in this match so far.
Have we seen Vanilla Gaia?
Yes. Sardis Cave.
Alright, there we go. Then that would mean that we are indeed missing whatever Castle Ordeals is, and whatever is locked behind the chime at the Mirage Tower. But there's our second. There we go.
Demerine locates a ribbon in Castle Ordeal. There's going to be an incentivized item in here. They're still out there. Poogle talked about it earlier. There's still a lot of things that can be done here. What must eventually happen will be the loot. It absolutely must happen.
And we're going to find out what this is.
It's dynamite!
Literally.
Literally. Demerine potentially gonna have to make another double dip back to the dwarf cave. It'd actually be a triple dip, but it's. Does Demerine do that? Does Demerine turn in the crown? I don't believe Demerine's done that, and I don't remember where Northwest Castle was, and Astos himself, because that kindly old king and his pet bats is missing his crown, but we do know that Demerine has seen it.
The Northwest Castle was... No, I don't think we've seen it.
Okay, I thought we saw it.
I don't
Okay,
think we have.
We'll check with Allie Gerbrap, our wonderful tracker tonight from the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. See if Allie Gerbrap has those notes, because my notepad's full. That could
I
be...
don't have it written down. I don't think we've seen it.
Okay, I don't either. So, Northwest Castle could potentially be behind that chime, and that kindly old king could potentially have a loot. That could be a roadblock for Demerine. That could allow Sylverfyre to get back in this game, except for when Stone Poison, Stone's 3 members of your party could... Oh. Sylverfyre perishes to the Stone Poison and the attacks from the mummies and the birds. Demerine has returned to the new Onrak, Oxyale in hand this time. So that's actually a third entrance and a block that we haven't seen as well. Demerine also has the rod. I don't believe we've been behind that block either.
We've not.
So we've got Northwest Castle still out there. I think there's maybe 2 dead-end Cardia Islands and 1 treasure? I know there's at least 1 dead-end.
Sounds about right. We're gonna see what's behind here. Oh,
Well, there's the waterfall.
another item.
Locked behind the Oxyale in the town of the new Onrak is the waterfall. Exits in hand. And we're going to make quick work of this. Sylverfyre checking the, what we call the greater than, less than room. A nice little treasure trove here of, I think it's 10 chests in total. Lots of money being found, a pure potion, copper gauntlet, pro cape. That's about the only thing that Sylverfyre was able to dig out of here. Where'd that white shirt come from?
I'm not quite sure.
White shirt's a good find.
I'm sure it's a fantastic find.
Mm-hmm.
You know what other shirts are a fantastic find?
I don't know, Ntara. Tell us what other
Yeah.
shirts are a fantastic find.
Very
Well,
prizeful find.
Yes, if you donate a minimum donation of $20 during this Final Fantasy I randomizer run, you'll be entered into a draw for a Final Fantasy I randomizer custom-made intro text shirt made by Scala Kitty. So you can guarantee it will be in your size. It is listed in the incentives document, which I have just linked if you want to see a picture. It's beautiful, so get those donations in.
Oh gosh, more damage poison.
I'm not seeing Bahamut either.
Oh no!
Oh, seafood. They ambushed Demerine. There's Glare. The lobsters are starting to strike Demerine. She's going to try to run and get away from this.
Oh, thank goodness.
Demerine, you gotta think, starting to get set. Marine's got Phasmo. It's her preferred endgame weapon. It's equipable by any light warrior. Incredibly versatile, incredibly powerful. Does huge damage, most damage in the game. Crit rate is good. Not the best in the game, but when it crits, oh, does it make things happen.
Demarine's not returned to the dwarves, has she?
No, the TNT in hand.
And the adamant.
Gonna do the bottle, Gaia.
Right.
I've got to think Demerine's top priority right now is the loot. Demerine knows where Kraken is. In the original Sardis cave entrance. Demerine has access to Bane, the poison of the poison stone element. There are 8 elements in the game. Fire, lightning, ice, stone poison, status, instant death among essentially most of them. And the stone poison are grouped into one element. Brack being stone, Bane being poison are grouped in there. And they're very effective against that big squid Kraken.
Kraken is very easy to deal with in that sort of circumstance, but I believe we found a thing.
What happened? Thing.
We found a thing.
Thing.
I mean, it's pretty and plays music. I mean, it's not the thing that... Oh, this is not the thing that you should be forgetting. You forget other things, Will.
Absolutely. Demerine makes her way directly to the Bridge of Destiny, and here we go, Warmech! Warmech ambushes Demerine and comes out with the ink skill. I don't think I saw that before. But Demerine's going after Warmech, the war machine. Fires off a fast into the fighter. Oh no, Warmech has fast. Oh boy.
I mean, at least Chaos doesn't have it?
Buckle your seatbelts. Get out your fog twos. There's a power gauntlet use. Demerine's going into another round. Demerine did not see that fast come. I think she saw it. What else does Warmech have potentially? How hard will Warmech attack Demerine?
That Fog 2 doing work.
180 damage from Demerine, the Fog 2 doing it. There's the Masmode attack. 8 hits, 1,045 damage is not enough. Masmode. Demerine's gonna make her attack. She's gonna heal first. Here comes the onslaught from Demerine, gonna try to take out Warmech. There it is. The Masmode. 8 hits, 777 damage. Warmech is still standing. Tornado comes out from Warmech. Does some damage, but the Masmode again. The big Masmode strike from Demerine, her preferred weapon, makes it happen, and all the levels come pouring in for Demerine. She's gonna go ahead and get out of here and save. Warmech has been terminated.
Well, that was fun. Alright, so Demerine has fulfilled the extra condition that was met via donation incentive in this race. It was to get rid of the Warmech, which has been handily dispatched.
Whole bunch of levels. Demerine's got to be happy with that. Poogle, I got a question. Do you take another Warmech? Oh, it's what she's doing.
I don't think I need to answer that.
I see. Demerine made a veteran move. Went outside, knows where Warmech is in the encounter table, burned off a couple encounters, walked right back in, and wants round 2. She wants some more parts. She wants to build her own Warmech. Same strategy, it's Fog 2. Warmech hit a little bit harder this time. I've got to think that Demerine liked seeing the first skill being Ink. Not Tornado. Essentially gives you a free round if Warmech chooses to use a skill. I don't think we saw any spells from Warmech other than Fast.
Not so far. As I said, we do know that now anything else can't have Fast. So the Fiends Revisited and Chaos cannot have that. They cannot have Tornado. They cannot have Ink. Ink is one of the ones you kind of really want to see on them, though.
Right.
It gives you basically a free round.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's 4 inks in the pool. I know there's at least 2, so that could pop up again, but an instance of it is out of the pool, as is Ice 2. So not only is Demerine about to take out Warmech again, get a ton of experience, strengthening her position in this game even more, she gets to see a little bit deeper into the spell list, in which she won't see in the final dungeon. Ice 2 is off the table now.
She's doing it again.
Yep. I think this is brilliant.
Silly.
Absolutely brilliant. These are players like this. They practice, and Demerine, a shining example of it. Is how you win games. Strategy. It's not luck. It's not where you go. It's the way that you can play, the way that you can execute to make things happen.
A question in chat of how the encounter table works across resets. Absolutely. So, if you do a full power cycle for the game, it will reset the encounter table back to the first encounter. However, if you get into an encounter and you do a soft reset, it will keep that place in the encounter table. So let's say the Warmech is, I believe, encounter 3 or 4?
Warmech is encounter 7.
Encounter 7. Okay. So, Demerine is going outside and soft resetting a bunch of times to get through to the encounter table where the Warmech would show up, and then going into the dungeon and making the Warmech show up. It is a very good strategy when you're trying to avoid things normally, but you can do the opposite when you're actually just level grinding on Warmechs, which is never something I ever thought I would say. But it looks like, let's see if she's going to do another round with the Warmech. And, oh dear, yep, she's going to keep grinding Warmechs. This is
Love it.
Fantastic.
Absolutely love it. Natara, our host tonight. I heard a rumor again, something about a $20 donation should something happen to one of the primary weapons in the game?
Yes, in fact, we did hear that. One of our lovely viewers in the chat did mention that if either of our runners were to toss the Vorpal sword, which apparently is some sort of sword, off the Sky Tower, they would donate $20 tomorrow. So the runners have been advised of this. So whether they do choose to do this, we'll see.
That's right, and it's $50 American if they don't do that from Wukleosis himself, and they do the Masmoon instead.
Ooh, and have they been notified of that?
No, he's just saying that right now so they don't throw the Vorpal off the tower.
What?
Mr. Team Game Changer.
$50 from Wukleosis. It will happen tomorrow, guaranteed. Should the Masmoon be kicked off into the somewhere, dropped in the volcano, something like that along those lines, and not the Vorpal.
Well, no, that's just unfair, so I'll match your 50 by adding 30 on if they do drop the Vorpal instead. That makes it fair. I'm not gonna make the runners do one thing over the other if they're gonna have to choose.
Rainbow Poogle.
I'm making it fair.
Boo.
Okay, so the whole joke about the Vorpal is that there is a couple of jokes in the Final Fantasy I community about what's better, what's worse, if the Vorpal's better than the other swords, if the... Do you save the Tyros? Do you have stakes? Etc, etc.
A lot of debate within the community. The best weapon in the game on paper is certainly the Masmoon. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Highest damage dealing weapon in the game. There is no question about that. Its crit rate, good. The Vorpal sword certainly does not deal as much damage. Crit rate, we're talking 60% somewhere in that area. And there is a section of our community that I am involved with as well that believes in the Vorpal sword. Because it is called the game changer for a reason, and that is our preferred endgame method. Will Bloodworth, one of our greatest players really of all time of this game, commentator, all-around great guy, he's a defense sword kind of guy. So different strategies for different folks in order to defeat chaos and move through this game.
As Sylverfyre, while we have been discussing the merits or not so much merits of swords and whatnot, Sylverfyre has made it to Provoka. They are going to go after Bicky and get their... Let's see, Bicky had the crown and go after that item. We've basically seen everything but Matoya, Astos, and the TNT.
Bahamut, I think?
And Bahamut.
We haven't seen
incentivized items.
Crystal either, right?
Right. We have not seen what Astos or Matoya gives, or what the dwarf TNT will... Nedrick?
Narek,
Something.
yeah. Narek, yeah.
Narek. Whatever his name is. But
question from
they've
Game
not
Boy
found the best dwarf. Neither of them have talked to the Hooray dwarf.
What? The Hooray Dwarf. Maybe we'll get a Hooray Dwarf sighting. $5 from Wukleosis. Others could potentially be informed for a Hooray Dwarf talk to. Will be added to the list if we can inform them, our great host. A question from Game Boy F9 in chat. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for all the work that you do in the development team of so many games. Who won the vote during the last tournament of the best endgame weapon? It was the Masmoon. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was pretty clear cut and pretty solid. It was the Masmoon, and the aforementioned game changer, the sword, did get second place in a narrow win over, I believe, it was the defense sword.
I believe you're correct. I don't remember. So it's about an hour 45 into this, and considering we've now finally gotten a grasp of where everything is, shall I do a quick recap?
Go for it, Rainbow Poogle.
Alright, so starting from the top, we had the king giving the canal and Sarah giving the canoe. Now, Canaria Castle was in Matoya's cave. The elf prince gave the floater for the herb, which was in Marsh Cave, which was awful because there was an iron golem tile directly in front of it that was unrunnable and gave both of our runners a decent amount of trouble, and it was just bad. So we finally found Provoka And we finally found Provoke in the Cardia Islands, and Bicky gave us the crown. We still don't know what the crown is going to give us, and I don't think we've seen Northwest Castle either. Sky, second floor, the Adamant chest gave us the cube, and the Adamant instead was locked in Corneria Castle, which was given to the Dwarf Smith to do the rod. Now the vampire, instead of guarding the rod, had the key, and the sages ended up having the bottle, which the fairy gave the loot for, being freed from her prison. Kraken was found in Sarda's cave. I don't think anyone's going to fight Sarda's Kraken? I don't know.
That's Matoya. Matoya has been located by Silver.
Yes, Matoya has been located indeed. That is in another part of the Cardia Islands. We had the Bridge of Destiny in Elfland Castle. The carry floor was in Vanilla Onrak, locked behind the Oxyale, and Lich was 2 floors down in Earth Cave. So, a lot less buried.
Fans of the RPG Valkyries, fans of... What you just heard from Rainbow Poogle is a reason why she's on the development team. She's one of our lead commentary. There it comes! Hooray! Everyone give us a hooray from the chat room. It is the Hooray Dwarf. A $5 donation has been met by Demerine with the Hooray Dwarf.
The Hooray Dwarf is so good.
We love the Hooray Dwarf. Thank you, Demerine, very much. $5 coming from Wookleosis. It will be coming in a few hours, I guess we could say, after work. But going back to you, Rainbow Poogle, that is why what Rainbow Poogle just showed to you is a lot of what our community is about. It is just pure awesomeness. Our commentary, Poogle, that you do, the development testing, the ideas, and everything that you put in this community is incredibly appreciated here and being shown right here on the RPG Valkyries Network. So we'd like to thank them for bringing us in from the other community, and especially to you, the fans, because this is why we're here. You are why we're here. Your donations and everything making this happen, to the Take This for mental health issues being put on, this marathon from the RPG Valkyries. An absolute honor to be here from the Final Fantasy Randomizer community as we revive the power of the orbs since 2016.
One thing I did forget is that the tail was the vendor item in somewhere. Crescent Lake, which took them a while to find.
I believe also, I think Demarine's getting stronger as we go. Here we go. The big squid. It's Kraken. How is Demerine gonna attack? Is it nuke? I don't see. It's gonna be nuke. No Brack. Looking to light her 4th orb. It's Demerine with a nuke. Kraken's hitting a little hard. 281 from Kraken. And Demerine using the same strategy. It's at Fog 2. Another nuke for 184. Demerine starting to get some damage into Kraken. Gonna start to fire a Fade and another nuke. There's the Masmoon. 2 hits for 247. Eat this, Kraken, with a nuke for a 186. Kraken fights back. Kraken knocks out the red mage. But Demerine will not be deterred. Fires a Fade from the white mage. Down goes Kraken. That's 4 orbs for Demerine. Loot in hand. Mystic key in hand. 1 hour, 48-minute mark.
I guess you could say we're, Kraken lacking.
Demerine heads back to the original Northwest Castle, directly down into the Marsh Cave split. This is floor and entrance shuffle if you've joined us late. The Temple of Fiends turns into the Temple of Fiends Revisited, given that you have the loot. You must have the Mystic Key to traverse it, and all 4 orbs lit. Demerine has that. Demerine has entered the Temple of Fiends and will now go back 2,000 years in time. She's going to have to battle the Fiend refights, the original versions of Lich, Carrie, Tiamat, and Kraken. Kraken's got a real pain in the butt sometimes, Poogle, and then potentially the ultimate fiend of chaos.
Yeah, one of the less jokes and more proven facts that we've come to know in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community is that the real gatekeeper of this game, of this area, is that it's Kraken 2, and Kraken 2 is, I believe the term is slap happy?
I believe Shalazia is joining us in the chat. Coined the Kraken is slappy happy.
Slappy happy, that's what it was.
Slappy happy. Demarine's gone through the original Phantom Trap tile. It was Grey Worms. Checks the validation chests. There's nothing there. There's the loot required. Demerine uses the loot and continues to dig deeper into the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Mazmoon's in hand. She's got Nuke, 2 ribbons. I like the levels. Maybe a little bit low, Poogle, or do you feel comfortable looking at the HP? I feel a little nervous.
She's got a decent number of nuke charges. She's got the Mazmoon, some decent armor. I think she's got the dragon armor and an opal helmet, maybe?
Got fast temper.
Yeah, and a lot of these encounters are actually runnable so far, what we're seeing, because it's actually really nice that a lot of these encounters are runnable. Normally in Temple of Fiends they're not, but that's the... Oh my goodness, they have glance. I'm just gonna cut myself off right there, is that mud golems are still awful as ever and have glance.
Yeah,
oh dear.
Yeah. The whole golem family is a problem. Sylverfyre's taking on Carrie, trying to light their fire orb. A question from chat. Ich bin Maya. Enemy stats. Enemy stats are adjustable. We have 2 different sliders on our websites, FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. You can change the strength of enemies as green Medusas are starting to stun. They've got stop. Well, now, Demerine is almost stun blocked. She's got... This could be foreshadowing.
Awful, but Mage Staff's gonna take him out.
That's right. Mage Staff burns him down. Sylverfyre continues to take on Carrie. There's sliders on FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. And what we have is regular enemies and boss stats. 2 separate functions of the game are both set at a maximum potential of 250% for this match.
Which means that they are also down to 40% for the low ends, which includes morale, so that leads for some funny interactions.
Sylverfyre fires Quad X at Carrie. Erased! Terminated! Sylverfyre takes out the Fiend of Fire. Fire lights their first orb.
Quadex is great.
A split punch special.
It is quite the thing. We've finally seen our Agamas.
There are the 4 Agamas. Demerine gets away with it. Demerine is on fire here in the fire floor. The Temple of Fiends Revisited, just absolutely tearing through it. About to take on Carrie 2. Carrie 2 is one of the hardest hitting enemies, period, in the game.
Not fun. Oh, 489 damage. That's right off the bat. Oof.
We just talked about that. Down goes the Red Mage. Demerine's playing this safe. Again, the Fog 2 strategies worked well for Demerine the entire game. Low end.
Saber Tiger.
Yeah. Carrie 2, essentially with no HP. How about the Life spell? There it is. Life and Life 2, some of the best spells in the game, Pool.
Don't believe we've seen Life 2. So Life 2 might be stuck on level 8. But now we are at one of the... perhaps the most awful floor. But looks like Demerine's got a really nice spot in the encounter table with runnable waters. That's...
With Lightning
really
3.
Nice.
The enemies have been really bad this game. I mean, they've had spells, they're ambushing. There's multiple Lightning 3s into Demerine. Knocks out the Black Mage. Down goes the Red Mage. Oh my gosh. The initiative. The waters are just making it rain all over Demerine.
Oof, that is not fun. I mean, that is an understatement of not fun, and there's still a lobsters on this floor.
That's right.
Decent part of the encounter table, getting it all the way over here without running into bad.
Sylverfyre has discovered Crescent Lake. Gonna go over to the confused old man. Finds fast. Here we go. Kraken 2. Oftentimes we call him the Gatekeeper, and it's for a reason. Does that reason pop up? Let's find out. Quad X is no good. From Kraken right off the bat.
That's rude.
Little bit. Demerine elects to keep the fighter in the top spot and strike with the Mazmoon. 899 damage. Down goes Kraken 2. All that talk of Kraken 2 is over for now.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, thank goodness.
Poogle. Poogle special. Rainbow Poogle and her despised vampires. Demerine gets away. Here we go. Tiamat 2.
Hey, it's called the We Hate Wiz Vamps Club for a reason.
Charter member and president is Rainbow Poogle. Demerine continues to use the Fog 2 strategy. Armoring up. Absorb. It brings up your absorb rate, not evasion. Crack. The crack skill. We have not seen that all game. Is coming out from Tiamat. And she's lost 2 warriors. It's only 2 warriors with the ribbons that are still alive. It's the Mazmoon dealer, though.
Well, at least she didn't get cracked through ribbons, which is unfortunate. Like, it's really bad. It can happen. It's awful. but at least it didn't happen this time around. I'm just curious if she's got enough life charges for the rest of the party.
There are more spells and skills in this repertoire. There's lightning 2s, there's squirrels, nukes. Not going to matter.
Squirrels? I have squirrels.
Oh, swirl, yes.
Now I'm just imagining Tiamat 2 surrounded by a bunch of squirrels. Like, evil, demonic, demon-like, fiendish squirrels.
Not going to matter,
Demerine.
Demerine.
That's actually terrifying. That's actually legitimately terrifying.
Demerine has moved on to the ultimate fiend chaos. Demerine is healing. Gonna potentially rearrange her party. We'll see what it does. Demerine has dominated this game the entire way. Can Demerine finish this? Can Demerine make this happen right here on the RPG's Valkyrie stream on the Ragnarok Marathon? Here we go. Demerine versus Chaos, 2,000 years in the past, trying to close the time loop. Same strategy. She takes the knight and puts it in the second slot. She's going to fire Fog 2 and a Fast onto that Mazmoon-wielding knight. Chaos attacks the red mage, attempting to accept a sacrifice, essentially, from Demerine. Does not take out the red mage. Here comes round 2.
And just to note that Astos had the slab.
Ah, something we did not see. Another Fog 2. That red mage is primed for a pick-off, potentially, from Chaos. But I think Demerine's got to be satisfied with the production from the red mage in this fight. There goes the Mazmoon. 4 hits, 211 damage. That's after a Fast, Poogle. Chaos has evasion.
Oof. That's a thing.
Temper Charge coming out from Demerine, and a heal 3. Trying to keep that HP nice and high to survive something that could be coming. 6 hits, 1,200 damage from Demerine's Mazmoon-wielding fighter. It's not enough. Chaos is still standing. Chaos takes out the red mage. 3 light warriors remain. There's Zap. Exile to the 4th dimension. Demerine's down to 2 warriors. Demerine fights back for 748. That's not enough. Chaos is still standing. Demerine attacks again with the Mazmoon with 1,000 damage, and down goes Chaos. Demerine2 takes the match at 1 hour, 57 minutes, 18 seconds. Chat, get out your GGs. Congratulate this wonderful, wonderful player, this wonderful, wonderful person. Takes this exhibition match over their good friend, Sylverfyre. Demerine earned it. Get out your GGs, and congratulations to Demerine2.
That's one of the less obnoxious Temple of Fiends Revisited I've seen in a while. I'm jealous.
We didn't see... There's 4 nuclear skills in that pool. There's 3 nukes. We didn't see any of that. We didn't see Inferno. We saw Crack. We saw Zap. We didn't see Bane. Demerine only had 2 ribbons, but just made it happen. Same strategy essentially the entire game. That's the first question that I want to talk with Demerine about, was the usage and the mileage that she got out of Fog 2.
That is rather shenanigan-filled. Fog 2 being the star MVP of this game, of probably this game, considering it was very, very nice to do. Very helpful. Holy heck.
Looks like on our stream, our wonderful re-streamer Scala is headed, we're going to switch the audio over to Sylverfyre so we can get some game music here as Sylverfyre continues their quest, nearing the 2-hour mark.
As Sylverfyre is going to head down now to the, well, smaller Earth Cave? Like, it's an Earth entrance, a fire floor, and then an Earth Cave, so I guess Lich just wanted to be toasty?
Yeah, turn up the heat a little bit. Definitely. Sylverfyre has found Lich, the Fiend of the Earth, looking to light their second orb.
Well, all things considered, with being as close to the water like that, the temperature is going to be lower down there. So with that much of a temperature change, I could see why a level of insulation would be nice. The only issue with that is Lich is dead and therefore can't feel temperature changes, so why would he bother?
Sylverfyre at the 1 hour, 59 minute, and pulls the fight with Lich 1, looking to light their second orb. Demerine absolutely throttled Lich 1. I think Lich 1 lasted even a round, and Lich has Blizzard? Doesn't matter. Demerine never saw it, but a nuke from the Black Mage of Sylverfyre at the 2-hour mark exactly takes out Lich. Sylverfyre steps forward and lights the second orb.
Now we know that Kraken is at Sarda, and that Tiamat is in Elfland Castle. So Demerine does So, Sylverfyre does know where both of those fiends are, to my knowledge.
Definitely.
Which means that they can go and fight said fiends when they feel comfortable doing so. Looks like they're going to armor up a bit first.
Do we have a winner joining us in the broadcast booth? Is that Demerine joining us?
I brought it home for the Valkyries of Light. That's what I do.
Demerine, obviously it's Will. GG's and congratulations. $5 from myself for talking to Hooray Dwarf. I certainly thank you for that very much. We got a few questions for you, Demers. Two things from me. I want to start with the usage of Fog 2 and its prevalence throughout this match this afternoon. You stuck with it? Tell me about the thought process and why you stuck with it and how it worked for you.
Well, it worked out really well because you want to have either of the big defensive spells. You're basically gambling on the one copy of Death Touch not being on Chaos or something. But since it soaks up, it increases the amount of damage soak you get per hit. Like, you notice that, like, after 2 casts of it, or 3 casts of it, Tiamat 2 did 4 swings for 8 damage. It's really good. It's kind of underrated. People like Invis 2, it gets you out of the way. But, if you've got a Fiend with, 8 or 9 or 10% crit rate, they can still cut through you pretty badly. It was the option I had, too. It was at level 2, and so it was easy access, and if I decided to try to find Bahamut, I would have had 3 casters of it.
Right, you definitely would have. The big story in the early game, the Golem trap tile, unrunnable. You had that. We talked about it during the broadcast. You had it in the challenge seed. You knew a way to deal with it. Can you tell us about your preparation for that, given your challenge seed play? Because we were there. I was there with you when you were playing it. And what your plan was, how you adjusted. Take us through that whole bottleneck, because that was really the story of this match.
Alright, so first half my party is dead getting into March 3, and then the Black Mage gets picked off. So I walk up to the tile expecting there to be a runnable encounter. Run from it, grab the box, and bail out. I see Iron Golems. I owe the swear jar, by the way, so don't let me forget to donate before I'm done with this here. And then, of course, I'm just like, alright, so I know it's vulnerable to lightning, but I can't buy lightning on my Black Mage because I stocked out on spells anyway in case of early carry. I wanted to have stun. So no lightning on there. And I'm like, alright, maybe my fighter can fight through it. And I was like, well, that's not happening either. So it was just make sure I have enough spell charges, like a dozen spell charges or something, just to try and bore my way through it. And I almost wiped to it, and it was real frustrating. But once I got through it, was mashing that exit button as hard as my finger would let me. And I'm really, really glad that the herb turned into instantly into the floater, because that made my life so much easier.
Yeah, it could have been Oxio, could have been a couple different things. It could have been the Ruby. That's what we were kind of, me and Poogle were kind of talking about. That could extend that inner sea journey for you in this match. Poogle has a question for you, I think. Poogle.
So, that Warmech grind, huh?
So, first and foremost, when I saw it in the 3 spot in the encounter table, I'm like, alright, well that's bad. I can just manipulate out of it, though. And then somebody, I'm not sure who would have donated to make that required, but to whoever that was, everybody out there who donated to make Warmech required, thank you. You made that run for me. You made my life a trillion times easier.
So, you took that fight about 5 or 6 times. Were you trying to get a couple of fighters down to, maybe get a couple light warriors more levels? Did you want a general full party experience growth? Thought process behind that?
The safety play is 400 HP on your red mage and your white mage, to make sure that you don't accidentally get your life caster nuked down in Temple of Fiends if something drops the nuke on you and you lose your white mage. Dangerous days. Levels will protect from that, but also having over 400 health will help you from that. And then when I saw that I was hitting Warmech 4 with a shot of the Power Gauntlet and fast, I was hitting for about 800 to 1,000. Warmech's only going to cap out at about 3,500 health on these flags, I think, give or take a few. Don't quote me on that with the boss scaling. So I'm just like, great, let's get all my levels right now. Let's get a ton of safety. This is going to take 6 minutes.
And it did not take a decent amount of time in order for you to take down the Warmech, as Sylverfyre has finally just taken out that Warmech and getting a lot of levels for it, and just finally getting rid of the bane of most of the seed.
Yeah, Syl went away from the practice play too. Syl went Black Belt Thief. That's interesting.
Yeah, differing parties for both of you. But I think the key was getting through the golem to get the did leave floater. When you didn't see floater, Demerine, and you saw the herb, you knew you could turn in the herb. Did your heart kind of start pumping a little bit of, oh my gosh, I didn't get what I wanted, but I got to this point. I got to keep going? Or what were you thinking at the time when herb popped?
I was thinking I was gonna get the ship.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what Poogle was thinking too.
Because then it would have been shipped to Onrak, Waterfall area, and then all that nonsense.
Yep, all that fun stuff, certainly.
Looks like Syl's actually gonna have the same idea and go for some Mormac fights as well.
Syl definitely has a really good practice habit of finding the best possible grind spot in any given seed. It just happens to be that this is the one.
Currently ongoing over in our Final Fantasy Randomizer community, we've got our League Season 2 going, and we've got individual play and quasi-cooperative, but we've got team play and team scoring. Demerine, you and Sylverfyre are on a team. Can you tell us about your team name and about your team concept, your members a little bit, please?
Yep, of course. Our lovely tracker, Randomizer Race, is also on the team. We are Team Math. We believe in using the tools that are given to us to defeat the bosses that are put in front of us. That's generally the concept. So we try not to discriminate against weapons or things, which means that you weren't going to see me throw any swords off of any towers anywhere. It wasn't going to happen. But yeah, that's us. We're kind of mid-table right now. I had a good run in the first round. Allie had a pretty good run in the first round. Syl had a good run in the first round, and Sonny Wrath, who is in chat, is pretty new to the Final Fantasy Randomizer community and is our fourth. We're hoping that he will bounce back this week after a tough week one, and I definitely believe that he can do it, so.
So, getting, unfortunately, 2 of their Light Warriors down, but does have warp charges. Goodness, what were your thoughts when you didn't find warp anywhere near the start?
I just knew it would take a while. It means that you don't get to save progress in encounters. You just get to, or in dungeons, you just get to kind of know what's there and then have to just run through and reset if necessary if there's nothing there. So it's always tough.
Did the lack of warp early on, I guess lack of exit for a little while because you didn't have the proper charges for it, did that affect your routing in any way?
Yeah, it made me not want to dive dungeons. It made me want to try and find any sort of free incentive locations I could find rather than trying to find non-free incentive locations. But of course, with Volcano on the table, it was time to grind to make sure I had charges of everything I needed to make that dive to get the herb.
As Sylverfyre continues to disassemble the war mech, once again, we'd like to thank you fans for tuning in this wonderful Thursday afternoon in October. Rainbow Poogle Shenanigans herself. My name is Will Cleosis. Our tracker, Ali Jerbrap, just mentioned, on a team with both players in this tonight over in our Final Fantasy League Season 2. That's ongoing. Right now, it's on both our broadcast partners, Speed Gaming and Randomania. 4 matches a week. You can certainly find all that type of information in our Discord area if this endeavor potentially interests you, or FinalFantasyRandomizer.com as well. This is a great marathon that we've got going on for the RPG Valkyries. An absolute honor to be here. Speedrun Ragnarok, and our host tonight. Thank you very much, Natara, for everything that you've done and all the donations that we've done. I think we're right around 5,000. We've met a couple here. We got Warmech required. Can you tell us a little bit more about the marathon, Ragnarok?
Yeah, absolutely, I can. So, as was mentioned, we're the RPG Valkyries, and we are an inclusive group of women and those who associate with being a woman. And we try and run RPG speedruns mostly, but for the sake of this charity marathon, we did open the marathon up to any sort of speedrun and to the lovely community we have and friends we know in order to get people together to raise money for Take This, which is an absolutely amazing charity who really supports mental health and mental health research and support. And one of the big things they do for that is they host AFK rooms in different event spaces. Currently, things like PAX East, one of the big ones. I heard rumors of MagFest as well. Unsure about that, but needless to say, the AFK rooms are quiet rooms which they host with trained volunteers and professionals there. So if you're overwhelmed, just needing some quiet and some space, just need some downtime, these are rooms that you can go to free of charge just to relax, tone down, make sure everything is feeling okay. And currently we have set our donation incentive goal to be $10,000 because for each $10,000 that they receive, they can put a new AFK room at a different event. So we do definitely want to get that going and support them with that and fund an entire room if we can. And so far, everyone has been amazingly supportive, and I have faith that we can actually reach that amount. So there are incentives and prizes that you can put your donations towards. Specifically for this run, any $20 donation or greater will enter you into a draw for a prize for a Final Fantasy I NES intro t-shirt, which since hitting the War Mech goal has been upgraded to a metallic vinyl print for the text, meaning there's a picture in our incentives document, which is lovely. But it will be updated to have really nice shiny letters, and that is a custom-made shirt by our very own Scala Kitty, so it will fit you if you win, so no worry there. Along with that, you can also choose at the same time to put your donation towards any one of our numerous incentives. The next run that we have coming up is the Link to the Past Super Metroid Combination Randomizer, and that should be exciting as it does combine both using 4 portals between the maps. You can warp between the Super Metroid randomizer and the Link to the Past randomizer in order to collect the different items between those 2 areas. So the 2 donation incentives we have for that particular game is we have Save or Kill the Animals, where Save has $50 and is in the lead. Kill currently has nothing. And also we have the donation incentive for opening the validation chest right before Ganon. So right now, not valid, which is not opening the chest, is in the lead with $5. But if you do want those runners or that runner to validate the run, you can donate anything above $5 to make them validate the run. So immediately after that run, we will be running a Final Fantasy VI speedrun, where basically every character can be named. Over half of them wide open as well, not a single donation incentive. So if you want to get your name or some name which you really enjoy to name one of your favorite characters, that is likely open, as well as the bid war for saving or killing Sid. Killing Sid is much faster, but there's a lot of really fun speedrun tech and, really cool plot if you care about that for the really cool plot is when you kill Sid, so that is slower, but it's much easier. It can be really complicated to do the RNG manip required to save Sid. So, do you want to save time and make it complicated, or do you want to see cool scenes? So right now, Save is in the lead with $9.99, and Kill has no donations. So lots of things open there, many things to support, and our marathon will be going on until Saturday night when we finish up. So I'm going to pass it back to the commentary team, but before I pass it over, we did get a $20 donation from Demerine, one of our 2 runners, who said, "I said bad words at Iron Golem. Put this towards Sylverfyre's choice."
I'd be surprised if you didn't say bad words at that Iron Golem. because that was a thing.
So it looks like we've got, is it the combo that's coming up next, Natar? The Metroid?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it's probably coming up, if I was to guess, probably right around 5 p.m. Eastern time would be my estimate. So stay tuned for that. I know I am.
Gonna be a really great show.
Sylverfyre attempted to do an older meta, kind of what we call it, a solo black belt on Warmech. Didn't quite work out, so Sylverfyre went ahead and made the adjustments just past the 2-hour mark with 2 light warriors up and going. Gonna go in and take out, I would think fairly quickly, the Fiend of Air, Tiamat, to light their 3rd orb.
And we will get this Tiamat fight underway. We didn't see too much of it from Demerine because she decided to just bane the thing, and a couple runs later it happened.
Poison smoke.
Tiamat has sleep? Rude.
It's a little bit rude. So some of the things that we've gone through today, if you're new to the game or if you played it when you were younger and didn't know that this randomizer was here, well, welcome, because it is awesome. The conveniences, Poogle, I mean, the dash, the buy 10, the fixing of all the spells has really, I think the term was coined by Ikben Maya, who had a donation earlier, thank you very much, modernized. The game makes it much more playable, much more enjoyable, and we just absolutely love it. We've got a great community for Final Fantasy Randomizer. We just came off a very, very successful tournament. We crowned a new champion in Edgeworth. He got through me to get there. I was one of the speed bumps on his way, but he was able to get through. And we had such a successful tournament. I can't wait for the next one. And I do believe, Google, that it might just be similar to the show in design that our winner, Demerine, and Sylverfyre, still on their quest to win this game, is on. The similar design with the floor and entrance show.
Oh, so that will be quite the treat. Now, might not seem like it, but a lot of people in the community have actually decided to take their stab at this sort of silly thing. And it's gotten quite a lot of traction from when it was once introduced. A lot of people are really good at it. If that is something through the grapevine that people have been murmuring about, that's going to be really interesting to see.
Oh, it's interesting, entertaining, exhilarating, frustrating, a whole bunch of different words all put into one. There's so many different options. There's a few options that we didn't get to see in this match this afternoon. We talked about it a little bit. You can shuffle Bahamut for class change, the Elf Doctor giving the herb. That's on our alpha site, which we actually make available to the public for Final Fantasy. We have an actual channel in our Discord. It's called Development Balance. Poogle, that's where we got our start. And we open it up to ideas and play testing and all this other sort of stuff that we don't know. I don't know that a lot of communities do that. They might keep their cards a little bit closer to the chest. We don't do that. If you have an idea, you come in and you suggest it. We see if it's possible. We see gameplay. We talk about it. We discuss how it can be executed, how it can affect the game. Does it alter it too much? Does it open it up? Is it a good option to have? We go through that. We had one somewhat recently. A player in our community, his name is Magius, and suggested removing a tile of the river in order to open up part of the world. Sure enough, it wasn't but a few hours later that that tile was removed. New options in a new world opened up, and we named it after the player that did that. It's called the Magius Passage, and that's all available over in our Discord. We'll see if we can get a link to the chat if that interests you at all.
Well, I'm gonna butt in real fast here and say that Sylverfyre has lit all 4 orbs and is cleared to enter Temple of Fiends Revisited whenever they feel comfortable enough to do so, and it looks like they're just gonna go.
Sylverfyre has... Sylverfyre does have the Mystic Key. The loot will be required in order to get past the orb.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Loot was bottle locked, and bottle was from the stages.
Right. So the path is there. It's fairly straightforward, but can you put them together? Sylverfyre is going to jump in, probably find that out, or we'll more than likely realize along the way. We've all done this. Demerine, our
yes.
winner today, has done it. You've done it. I've done it. I forget a whole bunch of different things. This is a check right here for the 4 orbs. What happens actually in the innards of the game is that when you talk to that orb, the game checks whether or not you have the 4 orbs lit. When you do, it allows you to close the screen, and then you cannot actually walk again onto the transport to send you 2,000 years in the past, because it actually checks again. So the original developers of this game made sure that you had to take out all 4 fiends with double and triple security checks in order to get back and attempt to win and defeat the game.
That is correct. And Syl is just going to find out right about now that, unfortunately, they do not have that loot. I believe they at least have the bottle. Only problem is now they have to know that that's where they have to go to get it.
Yeah, you got to put it together, and that's not easy. It is. We've been through this too, putting those pieces together. We'll see if Sylverfyre can piece it together. I've got a pretty good feeling that Sylverfyre will be able to. The translated slab looks like the first endeavor Sylverfyre wants to do in order to attempt to gain the loot. It is the crystal.
Crystal de Matoya would give them the ship.
Oh.
The only item we've not seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the one item that is currently missing from the incentivized item pool that we have seen, and giving the Crystal to Matoya will more than likely give Sylverfyre the ship.
Ali Jerbrap, our tracker, pointing out in chat, did we see the chime? What is
Oh, right.
Bahamut?
I'll-
It's got to be Bahamut, right?
No, Bahamut doesn't
No?
give anything, does it?
Behind the chime in the original Mirage Tower.
Oh, right! Behind the chime would be Bahamut. Yeah,
Right.
that would have to be it.
Mhm.
The chime would have to be...
Uh,
Well, while that's going on, I'm going to
Crown?
look at my notes
No.
again.
Oh.
No, Crown gives Slab.
I don't think we ever saw the opal bracelet as well. And fans, as you can see, 2 players who, me and Rainbow Poogle were together the night that this was born, Floor and Entrance Shuffle, and we're still confused. We've got a wonderful tracker that was made by one of our lead developers, Meridian BC. I know pretty much everyone uses it. Some people use, some players use Notepad. Some players use Poogle. I think you do. Old-fashioned way, pen and paper.
Oh yeah, I just write this stuff down. It might just be locked inside of itself? I don't know. Sylverfyre are going to pick up their Oxyale here, which is going to lead to the Waterfall Cave, which is something that they are going to need because that gives them... Did the robot give them? The robot gave them Masmune.
Ooh. It's a good weapon. I also do not know, Poogle, do you have what the original Lethane, where Sylverfyre is headed right now, do you have what this location was, or perhaps Demerine, if you're still with us?
Oh, what's up?
The original Lethane entrance, Sylverfyre headed there right now. The results of this entrance, do you know them?
Oh yeah, Castle Ordeals gets you the TNT. I don't think I scratched down what you get for. Oh, you get the ruby from Narek.
Okay.
In which case...
The chime is a mystery. Let's see.
Don't know.
Demerine, the ice cave?
I just gave it a ribbon.
Yeah, Ice Loop was the one incentive ribbon. The waterfall dip, if you go to the waterfall cave, was at the on-rack dungeon with the Oxyale that gets you Moss Immune from the robot. But the way out of this for Sylverfyre, and of course Syl does not know this, is to go to the waterfall cave location in the world, which is Crescent Lake, which is where you'll get your tail, but also will get you your Oxyale, which will also get you your bottle.
Well, Syl's been to Crescent Lake. I'm just not sure that they've been to Crescent Lake since they killed Lich.
Yeah, that was part of why we put the no early flag in for this for the fiends that requires that you kill Lich, because we knew it would be a bit of a roadblock in case Crescent popped up early. It wasn't like, free items everywhere. But now it seems to be tripping Syl up a little bit.
Oof. That is, unfortunately, what is going on.
Sylverfyre, or Demerine, excuse me. Did you turn in the block?
The Q block?
Yeah, it was in the original Crescent Lake.
Let's see. Notes, dungeon. Yeah, the original Q block was the ice loop. That was where the ribbon was.
Chime is locked behind the rod. Opal bracelet's locked behind the chime. That's how it has to be.
What about what was the red? You never checked the red dragon test. It wasn't
Red Dragon
incentivized.
chest was not incentivized.
Incentivized. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, I think that chime has to be in behind the rod, and the opal bracelet is going to be somewhere within the chime lock. Maybe.
No, the rod lock was the key in the cube, so I think Syl should have both of those now, because it was Sky 2, or Sky Spider Floor, so yeah, Sky 2, and then it was followed up by
Oh, that's what that was.
another incentive location.
A good welcome to Final Fantasy Randomizer, the post game, as we attempt to figure everything out. Looks like the opal bracelet was not incentivized, and I don't think we ever saw it. Could have been potentially located in the Temple of Fiends Revisited itself. Could have been on the bottom of Marsh floor that wasn't very well explored, and I can completely understand why.
Does that mean the chime's locked behind itself?
What about the rod block, Demerine?
Rod block was key and crown. Key and cube, key and something.
Okay.
Yeah, key was in the chest, was in Vampire Chest, and then cube was behind it on Skyfloor 2.
Then...
Adam,
the only incentivized location...
Ma-
Chime is
Matoya?
locked within itself in the Sea Shrine with the mermaids behind Mirage
Mermaids.
Tower. Chime has to be locked behind itself in Mirage.
It's in
I
the
think.
mermaids.
Well,
Oh no, we've got one left.
yeah, Castle of Ordeals.
Castle Ordeals.
Ordeals. Castle Ordeals. There
Oh
it
my
is.
goodness, Bahamut's chime locked. Then it has to be.
Yeah, I didn't go to Castle Ordeals. Castle Ordeals is always the last spot I go to in Floor Shuffle.
I'll make note of that.
That means Bahamut has to be locked behind the chime, which is in Castle Ordeals and the mermaids.
Right. Now, Poogle,
Hilarious.
does it make you feel sad that you never got to see the ladies? Because I know I feel terrible.
Yes, however, with how out of the way they are in this scene, it's not... It's understandable.
I mean, as a runner, I always want to see it because it's, it's like a ton of free treasure chests that require no effort. So it's always nice, you step into Corneria Castle at the start of a Floor Shuffle, and the mermaids are right there for you. It's great.
It is great. Demerine, what is your method of attacking a match like this? Is it pen and paper? Is it the tracker provided by Meridian BC? Is it your method? How do you keep track of everything?
I just use Meridian's tracker. It's, it's quick, it's accurate. I take good notes. I think that comes from being a commentator just as much as from being a runner, because I like doing recaps, and so it's really nice to be able to do a recap, and I know it can be really hard to do a recap on Floor Shuffle, even with, with adequate notes. But taking good notes has been really helpful towards being able to get everything, sort of in order and together.
I also do Meridian's tracker. We'd like to thank NVC, the purveyor of a co-op mode that we have as well. Coming up sometime in the future, still in its infancy. We've got a mode in our Final Fantasy Randomizer to where it's not that you're in a group with potentially a partner and talking, and you don't say, where something might be, like the loot. If you actually obtain the loot, it is shared. Key items are shared in our co-op mode. We're still developing that and working on it. We've had a few shows here and there of it. It's been an absolute blast. By the way, the Game Changers, Team Wookleosis and Falconic FF, undefeated.
I haven't been around much for that, unfortunately. I've heard it's been going really, really well, so...
It has. At least probably every other night, a few people show up and just want to, have a friendly game. Not necessarily a match that's timed or something that's broadcast. They just want to play the game because they love the game. And sometimes, we do like we used to, Poogle, with, where we just kind of play the same seed and kind of have fun in a quasi-competitive sort of way. But now they can team up and work together, different strategies, different party makeup. It all kind of starts with the party makeup, and you're on a team, and how well do you communicate? And it kind of boils down to communication.
That it does, and sometimes you just go, okay, I'm going here, you're going there. You find items, you go different places. It's various team to team and person to person. But that is still in its infancy stages, and it looks like Syl has found their loot and is gonna go back into Temple of Fiends Revisited for their stuff.
The way Demerine thrashed through Temple of Fiends Revisited, I've got to think that Demerine's team member in the League Season 2 and good friend sylverfyre is going to absolutely thrash through this and finish off this seed.
And we will see where that goes. Now, a lot of the Fiends were honestly paper tigers, to be honest, and did not put up too much of a fight. Fog 2 being a very good help with that. We're just gonna have to see. Syl not having as many Fog 2 casters, I believe, only having one instead of the white mage instead of the red mage that Demerine decided to bring along, is gonna possibly have a bit more trouble dealing with that. But because the black belt is high enough level, I really want to see some Fiends running. I want to see Chaos run away.
I can't remember the last time we...
I don't know, but morale has been included in Shuffle, so...
Yeah, I think it was Will Bloodworth had Fiends run from him, and that was in the bonus stream, gosh, nearly a year ago. We have not seen that. Can sylverfyre make that happen? We're going to find out pretty quick. Sylverfyre has returned to the Phantom area. The Phantom, of course, has been shuffled out. Trap Tile Shuffle is on. Uses the loot, and sylverfyre is as deep in this game as they have been.
Let's see how this goes. We've got some Frost Wolves and Frost Giants that are, par for the course. And we're gonna hit the next floor. And, right before we're gonna get running into Frost Dragons. Can't really hit things though, so that's nice. We get to the fire floor now. Luckily, the Mud Golem encounter is able to be run from Poison Touch, but Syl's got some Pures in order to stop that from being a problem.
Antidotes.
That as well.
The Demerine, if you're still with us, the enemies in this game were not friendly. The Medusa script, right? Google. The Medusa script was Cremate, Brack. It was on a bunch of enemies.
Cremate, Frost. One of them was in the Nasho, and the other one was the Red Hydra. We'd never found the third.
And they came early, and they came often, Demerine, and you had other enemies causing so many roadblocks. Did it get frustrating at all?
I mean, it always gets a little bit frustrating, but I think that for anybody who runs any randomizer, knowing how to like mitigate tilt and sort of keep your head in it's a really big deal. The Final Fantasy randomizer especially, there's just so many times where it's just like, so you're gonna go into this fight and you're going to be, you're gonna be threatened by, you're gonna go into this dungeon and you've got to be prepared for, something all of a sudden just breaks out thunder, breaks out, stone poison, or starts glaring your party members. And if you're not ready for that mentally, it can be really dangerous. And so knowing how to mitigate that tilt is really important.
When you found the ribbon, the second ribbon, blatant, did you really want to find that? Was that a as you were had a good direct path and plan, but did you really want that?
I almost always want two. I want one for my life caster, and I want one for my main DPS character. The big thing is that since I didn't promote, that didn't mean I obviously didn't find the Aegis Shield anyway. I didn't have the Aegis Shield / Dragon Armor / Pro Ring, near perfect defense against everything except for Time Elemental on my knight or my fighter anyways. So the second ribbon, no access to wall, realistically. I could have gotten it, but I think it was at level 8. I don't remember because I don't check the level 8 spells. It's a bad habit. So I really wanted the second ribbon for safety because, I lost a couple of races already to, my fighter just getting zapped out of nowhere by, Tia 2 or by Chaos, and I was just... And when I saw Zap come out from Chaos, I'm just like, not today! Just not right now.
We speculated a potential geek in this match as Demerine went through, and we didn't really think we saw anything other than waters that hit Demerine with, I think it was 6 lightning 3s in a row, perished 2 of her light warriors. Sylverfyre does not see that though. A couple of water fights that Sylverfyre quickly gets away from, and about ready to take on Kraken 2.
Now, Kraken 2 didn't seem to have a large amount of health, well, smaller amount of health than normal, and considering that Sylverfyre does have a pretty decently high level black belt, this is gonna be a walk in the park.
Yes, Sylverfyre takes on Kraken for round 1. I gotta think too that black belt is going to do some punches. I don't see Kraken lasting much longer. Let's see what happens for Sylverfyre. It's just past the 2.5 hour mark, about 2:36. Down goes Kraken. And we estimated, the estimate time for this match was about 2 hours and 15 minutes, so it's pretty much right on time with the design and what it is that we thought for the marathon here would happen. Sylverfyre right in line with that early bottleneck, just couldn't quite get through, made the adjustments and finally got through. And I think Sylverfyre's really picked up the pace, Boogle. I think that had Sylverfyre been able to get through that block and that wall like Demerine did, we might have had a really, really close match finish-wise.
Absolutely, that was just the worst trap tile ever.
The Golem trap tile that was blocking the incentivized herb, which of course led to the floater, will actually always be unrunnable. In the side the game mechanics, encounters, they go by formations, as we talked about a little bit earlier, and the golems, they're in pairs. That golem trap tile is actually paired with Garland. So Garland will always be unrunnable, as will that encounter that blocked both players this afternoon. Another well-known one is the pirate one, Poogle. The pirates have a B-side of the Sayhags in the Sea Shrine.
I wish that was runnable.
Yeah, so that will always be unrunnable as well. And if those red Sayhags have something, like a crack, a lightning 2 even, could be potential big trouble. A death touch? Ooh.
Alright, we have got our Chaos fight on Sylverfyre's side. Now, to be fair, we didn't really see anything from Chaos. I hope that we're not going to see anything the second time as well.
I think our winner in this match, Demerine, I think it was Crack that got through. That was really the only thing that threatened Demerine finishing this game. Sylverfyre attempting to take out Chaos using the white shirt for some evasion. And starting to charge up the black belt. Healing the white mage, taking care of that 6 hits for 6-3. Sylverfyre starting to do damage as Chaos has got some HP. We know that. We learned that from Sylverfyre, Demerine's run. There's an
and
attack.
That Fog 2 cast coming out again. Oh, well, there's the skill.
Damage poison from Chaos. Sylverfyre's opponent, Demerine, never saw that. Chaos attacks again with a Fog 2. Only 60 damage into the white mage. Fog 2 doing its work.
That is over 1,000 damage from the black belt. Chaos should be going down anytime soon.
1,000 damage, Chaos. Probably down to 1 knee. There's a nuke from Sylverfyre for a buck. A fade from Sylverfyre for 158 still isn't enough. But here comes the black belt. Only a couple hits for 272. Chaos fires back with Lightning 3. Chaos is definitely on the ropes. Sylverfyre's gonna heal up real quick with a heal 3 and fire another nuke into Chaos for 100. Chaos still trying to fight Sylverfyre. Chaos no match for Sylverfyre's black belt. 972 damage. Down goes Chaos, and Sylverfyre finishes this match. Chat, get out your GGs. RPG Valkyrie fans, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, get out your GGs. Congratulate Sylverfyre. We'll call it 2 hours, 40 minutes flat. GGs, and congratulations to Sylverfyre.
Oh, GG to both runners. That was a thing. That was certainly a seed. I think the Gatekeeper was the Iron Golem tile. Unfortunately, as Temple of Fiends Revisited was a bunch of paper tigers. Chaos didn't have anything too heinous. I mean, yes, insta-kill spells, but we had 2 ribbons by that point, so... yeah. GG to Syl. Holy jeez.
Well done, Sylverfyre never gave up. Got through that bottleneck, made it happen, fought a couple of Warmechs, took out Warmech, made this happen. We'll see if Sylverfyre is interested in coming in for a few minutes as it looks like the RPG Valkyries and the community marathon Speedrun Ragnarok, I see them setting up for the combo randomizer, the Metroid one. Looks like they're getting that ready. That's going to be on deck coming up in just a little bit.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi there, Syl.
Looks like they're getting that ready. That's going to be on deck coming up in
So Iron Golems can go somewhere else.
Sylverfyre, it's Will. GG's, you made it happen. That was the story of this match. I'm sure that you knew that.
How far behind was I about getting that floater?
Poogle,
Oh, goodness.
half hour?
That sounds about right. Okay.
A decent amount.
Yeah. Your strategy was very similar to Demerine's. You just couldn't quite make it happen. Was it frustrating? How did you adjust? Take us through the thought process, please.
Like you saw me like slam my head into that wall a few times where I'm just like, okay, if I can just get down there, like I grabbed a couple, like 2 or 3 more levels, it's fine. I can just get down there and like just spam the Zeus Gauntlet and lit 2s. But I just like most of the time I would just like run into like unrunnable lobsters or scorpions and they would turn my party to stone or something would happen. And I just like after doing that for like 20 minutes or something, I just like went and I got like 3 or 4 more levels. And then like I think even then it took me 2 more dives because I decided to just reset immediately when I saw 2 Iron Golems. The very first time I fought them, like I got 7 or 8 lit 2s off and it wasn't enough. And then like I realized when I finally killed them, I was really close that time when I wiped. That very first time. Because they only had like maybe 100 health more or so.
We talked about it with Demerine as well. The Medusa script really reared its head here. Brack, Cremate, and it all came early. The Red High, the Nachos caused trouble, and they all came early. The enemies were definitely not kind in this match.
I'm so sorry.
Syl, you're gonna hate me for this. At level 9, I walked up and baned Tiamat right in the face.
This doesn't surprise me that much.
Someone had to do it in the match. That's how this works with the 2 of us. You know that. So I just walked up and went, the easiest enemy on the bridge was Tiamat, so baned her.
I half expected you to like tell me that you made the 1% Bane on the Iron Golem when you ran into it.
I'm not that good at this game.
Those Iron Golems were something.
That was quite a gatekeeper. Fortunately, not a whole lot more was required beyond that, although I had a hell of a time finding the loot when I realized, wait, I still don't have it.
Sylverfyre, good match. We estimated that would be right around the time. You couldn't have seen that block coming. Did you have the experience that Demerine did in the challenge seed recently of playing that and have the
No, but
experience?
I actually was watching Demerine when she ran into that situation.
Okay, that's right. I do remember you there. And I remember watching it, and I just kind of sat back and if Poogle was there, she would have been eating her ice cream and popcorn and just gotta watch because I would play at that.
It was special. I didn't have a giant stack of tempers that I could put on a black mage the way that I know at least one runner did for that fight. Having temper at such a high level was pretty rough, except for the fact that we had a war mech to grind on.
That
Yeah.
was really funny that both of you decided to just go do that. Like, oh, here's an easy war mech fight. Let's then go just smack it again multiple times in the face. I mean, it was a lot of experience, so that's nice.
Yeah, and it's a great feeling for when sometimes you just get ambushed by war mech on the bridge, which never happens to Sylverfyre, because Sylverfyre doesn't get encounters on the bridge unless they want them. And just getting, like, all of a sudden war mech goes and just nukes you out of, like, nowhere.
War mech didn't seem to have anything super awful either. Like, where was the nuke? Where was the nuclear? I'm glad they didn't show up, but
I mean, several of the fiends were made of paper. I was actually really scared on Kraken 2 because Kraken 2 sniped my black belt after I've only done around 400 damage on the first turn.
Yeah, I had to do a little bit of extra hunting to grab the Mosmune because I did not run your party.
It's something I settled on when I was in practice, and I actually had the black belt thief as the 2 forced slots, and I'm like, that went really well, and like I was totally prepared to like dive into Topher with no ribbon.
that would have been an interesting time. Because I don't think you saw quite what Demerine saw for Chaos.
What did Chaos have?
Tia 2 was rockin' crack, so took out 2 of my light warriors right towards the end, but the fighter and white mage were fine. And then Chaos decided to break out with Zap, I think decently, not too deep in the spell table, and took out my, and just dropped my black mage, like, wasn't even there, but had already gotten off the fast and all their temper charges, so it didn't care.
We've got a question from chat from Prof NES. In Demerine, I caught you say that your opponent, Sylverfyre, deviated from practice. The question is about reasons of party choice. We had the forest white mage and black mage, is that correct?
Yeah.
Demerine, can you take me through your thought process? And afterwards, Sylverfyre, please.
Well, you know, if you saw the tournament and you saw the formations that people were rocking in the tournament, it was it was all fighter and mages behind it. In practice, Syl and I had run out some thief comps, some black belt comps, some fighter comps, and I always joke that Syl is better at finding the best grind in the seed than I am by a wide margin. So with Incentive Mausoleum, which we did mostly for safety, plus the possibility of an early treasure room leading to like an early, sort of some flavor. I figured fighter was pretty safe, and then you can just slap an iron armor on him, and she'll go pretty far, honestly, in the early game. And then I always want to have 2 AOE casters if you can. Like if I can, like if it was forced black belt, it might have been red black for me. I might not have run the safety mage, which would have been okay here, honestly, except I wouldn't have had life access.
Sylverfyre, you had the black belt.
So the black, it's really hard to open boxes in entrance rando sometimes. And the black belt does not care that it is really hard to open boxes.
Fair enough. I like both plays. Poogle.
Yes, Will?
Such a pleasure to work with you here on the RPG Valkyrie stream. Thank you for joining me. Always so much fun with you.
Always a blast. Thank you to the RPG Valkyries for doing this entire thing. It has been so great to be here. GG to the runners. Thank you, Allie J. Brat, for helping us track. And, Will, any parting words?
Thank you for all the donations. The Hangry Canucks, Ik Ben Mayas, I'll be in there as well. An absolute honor to bring you this show. Scala doing the restreaming. The fans for joining us during this Ragnarok marathon. And most especially to the RPG Valkyries for allowing us into their home so that we can come into your home so that you enjoy it. Kind of in the middle of this marathon that you're doing for the Take This Foundation and mental health. An absolute honor to do this. Congratulations to Demerine for the victory over their good friend and partner Sylverfyre. An excellent show. Thank you for having us. And from the Final Fantasy Randomizer community as well, we invite you to come join us anytime. For Rainbow Poogle, my name is Will Cleosis. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay tuned for the Metroid Combo Randomizer coming up right here on the Speedrun Marathon Ragnarok.
And this is Natara just tuning in and letting you know that we are going to be switching restreamers shortly. We're going to hand the reins. Actually, we're not changing restreamers, but we are going to change the crew up a little bit here. So we're handing things back over to Skulla Kitty. So thank you so much for tuning in for this Final Fantasy 1 randomizer, and look forward to that Super Metroid Link to the Past. Keep enjoying the marathon and keep on donating.